In 1962, Suzuka circuit opened its doors for the first time. In 1968, a few years later, it hosted the inaugural JAF Grand Prix, the Japan Auto Federation Grand Prix. The race continued over the years, varying from Fuji Speedway back to Suzuka Circuit. And Nick Cassidy introduced my well-restricted introduction.
So you did a great
Over
job
to you,
yesterday
Nick.
qualifying. Only you passed to the Q3 with a TRD engine. How do you feel now?
Yeah, it's that's true. So frustrating because the lap was usually good enough for pole, but only P6. So yeah, not ideal, but we do our best.
はい、今ですね、昨日の予選、素晴らしい仕事をしたということで、TRD エンジンで唯一のですね、Q3 進出ということで、まあラップ自体は悪くなかったけど、まあそれでも6番手ということで、まあ苦しいまあ予選だったけども、まあ僕のベストは尽くさず、まあ今日もとにかくベストを尽くしただけと言ってます。So second question is, so this race is the championship decider. Last year you show us the great race, you know, chasing to the Naoki until the end. So will you show us the great race again this year?
I try my best, but obviously, yeah, we saw yesterday the difference to Honda, so it's not going to be easy.
はい、去年はですね、OK。
Well, and there you go. That was Nick
去年はで
Cassidy
すね、山本直樹選手とのバトル
talking
で
about
です
some
ね、
other
最後の
topics.
最後
My
まで
name is Sam
いいレースを見
Collins.
せてくれた
You
ということで、
are
今日もで
watching
すね、いいレースを見せてくれましたという
Super
ことで、
Formula Finale, the
まあいい時ではないと、
2019
まあ簡単ではない
JAF
けど、
Grand Prix here on Let's Go Racing with Talk
と
Esports.
にかく
I'm
ベストを
joined
尽くす
here
と、まあ本当に
in
ね
the
シンプ
booth
ルな答えで、
with Leo
レース
Gorman.
に集中
Hello,
しているの
Lee.
が印象的で
Hello
した。
Sam, hello
以上になり
everyone
ます。
else. Very much looking forward to this finale. We've got a five-way battle for the championship. Realistically, it's the top three going for it. It's going to be a big fight between pole sitter Alex Palou and the championship leaders Naoki Yamamoto and Nick Cassidy. But great race ahead and a dry race ahead. So 250 kilometers. Looking forward to this.
Exactly. Well, I'm going to let you run through the grid and the championship permutations momentarily, but I'm going to go back to my intro. So in 1968, the JAF Grand Prix ran for the first time. It alternated between Fuji Speedway and Suzuka Circuit. Didn't run every year. Some years it stopped for different reasons. One because of undisclosed scandal. It sometimes ran as Formula 2, as Formula Pacific. The first ever race was run by a Repco-powered Lotus 63, I think it was. Jackie Stewart has won it. Various other people have won it over the years. Then for a while, it was a three-class championship with a GT300 JAF Grand Prix, a GT500 JAF Grand Prix, and a Super Formula, a Formula Nippon JAF Grand Prix as the Fuji Sprint Cup. And then in recent years, the whole event has reverted to Suzuka Circuit for this, the Super Formula Finale. Runs on the same circuit as the Japanese Grand Prix, hosted here just a few weeks ago in the wake of Typhoon Hagibis. Unfortunately, poor weather again has affected the residents of Chiba, up near Tokyo. Thoughts with them, but also thoughts with what's going on here on track. And we have a five-way championship shootout there.
So as it stands at the moment, Naoki Yamamoto leads the championship with 29 points, 1 point ahead of Nick Cassidy. In third on the standings is Alex Palou with 3 points. He took an additional score for scoring pole position yesterday, as you see him on screen there now. Fourth in the championship is Kenta Yamashita on 21 points. He's 8th behind Naoki Yamamoto. And 5th in the standings is Kamui Kobayashi on 19 points. He is 10 points behind the championship leader Naoki Yamamoto. He has not won a race yet, as we see the pole lap from Alex Palou. And it was a pole lap that was indeed 1/10 of a second, just 1/10 of a second slower than the actual fastest Super Formula lap around this circuit. And you can really see how committed Palou is.
If you want to know how quick this is, this lap would have put Alex Palou just ahead of Romain Grosjean in his Lotus Renault for the 2014 Japanese Grand Prix here at Suzuka. So we are talking Formula One speed cars. Now, the current F1 cars have got a lot quicker in recent years, but it's 2014 F1 pace. Chucks it into the digners there.
And he really, I mean, I said it only a few moments ago, you really see how committed he is. And just another indication just how much downforce these cars have. It is so absolutely planted. It's Palou on a soft Yokohama tyres here, but it is so absolutely planted. Very, very, very committed through many of these corners, and just
that little corner no one knows what the name is. That we just went through is actually called Matcha. Just before we get into Spoon
like
here.
a tea.
Yeah, It's named after a guy who had a rather nasty crash that really actually died. That's how it works.
Now the section where Pelu comes over the bridge into 130R, where Alex Parrot's-Nui had a big crash there in FP2.
But you can see his skid marks there.
And towards the famous Prost Senna chicane. It's been reprofiled several times over the years.
It's called the Something Precision Instrument Chicane currently.
Ah, let's see.
Yeah.
And that was a pole lap of 1 minute 35.9 for Alex Pelu.
We'll upload that lap without us talking nonsense over it later, so you can watch it in isolation.
So we have the standings there. As I said, Yamamoto leading Cassidy by a point, with Pelu a further 2 behind Cassidy. It's 13 points for a win here today, not the 10 we've seen in races throughout this season. The rest of the points positions are exactly the same. It's 8 for second, 6 for third, 5 for fourth, then 4, 3, 2, 1, down until 8th position. So we have we've got a 5-way battle for the championship. Realistically, it's going to be for the top 3. Kenta Yamashita and Kamui Kobayashi would require a significant, races. I'm sure they're going to get changed in a moment. For Kenta Yamashita and Kamui Kobayashi, it would require Yamamoto, Cassidy, and Pelu to all have poor races or retirements to really bring them into the championship hunt. But you never know. We'll see what happens. And I suppose we should get to the grid while we are lined up on the field. I don't know, we have Japanese national anthem coming next.
I think we do. Keep talking. No, don't. Oh, that was a nice rendition of the Japanese national anthem.
Now, we did see, I think it was Kamui Kobayashi there on wet tyres.
It was on the rain tyres. That makes absolutely
I'm
no
quite
sense.
confused by that, because the tyres are all being taken off the grid now. I'm going to very, very quickly run through the grid before the start of this race. We're going to get going in a few moments' time. We'll see all the race being thrown off the track. 20th on the grid. Starting last.
Oh, there you go.
Starting last is Hiroki Ishura. He had a slight off during Q1. He starts last with a 1 minute 42.892. Yuri Vips, debutant for a super performer debutant for Red Bull Junior for Team Mugen. He replaces Pato Award. He starts 19th. Then Yuichi Nakayama, staying in the Team Le Monde car. He's 18th on the grid. He's replacing Artur Markelov. 17th on the grid is Kazuya Oshima. He spun at Degner in Q1. Parked the car under the bridge. Very, very, very nice indeed. He's 17th on the grid. 16th is Kamui Kobayashi, as we saw a few moments ago, for Team KCMG. Then Yuki Sekiguchi, 15th on the grid, a 1 minute 37.9 for him. 14th is Yuji Kunimoto in the Kondo Racing team. He starts 14th on the grid. It's a bit of a difficult race for Kondo, race weekend so far for Kondo Racing. 13th on the grid, Shosubai, the reigning all Japanese F3 champion with the Ying Ying team. He's getting underway on the 7th row of the grid. And then Ryo Hirakawa, 12th on the grid for Team Impul, just behind Kenta Yamashita, who won last time out in Okayama. He's with Kondo Racing. Now we're in the top 10. 10th place, Kazuki Nakajima, the team's Tom's car. He headed warm-up a few moments ago. He'll hoping to bring some of that pace into the race today. 9th place, Harrison Nui. As said a few moments ago, he had a huge crash at 130R in FP2. The car, they rebuilt the car. Now I hope they got stickers on the actual car. This time was running slightly blank in qualifying yesterday. He's in the 9th place in the B-Max by Motorport car. Now into Q3, the top 8, Hidesuke Makino, Nakajima Racing. He gets away from 8th on the grid. Good effort from him. Also good effort from Kodai Tsukakoshi in the Real Racing Honda. He gets away from 7th on the grid with 1 minute 36.
Just to interrupt you there, I don't understand this. Kamui Kobayashi is starting the race on rain tyres.
I am not seeing much damp.
It's not raining. Well, that's just baffling. Anyway, carry on with your grid.
Very,
You've
very
got
strange.
half a lap to go.
Sixth on the grid, second in the championship. Nick Cassidy barely made it into Q3, only just getting ahead of Harrison Newey at the very last moment. He's the only Toyota in the top 8. The Team Tom's a woman at 36.496. Cassidy, fifth, is the championship leader. Fastest in Q1, Group 1, fastest Q1 altogether. Dandelion Racing, Naoki Yamamoto, 1 minute 36.3. Narei Fukuzumi, he was fastest in Q2, could only get 4th place in Q3 with a 1 minute 36.3 for Dandelion Racing. Third on the grid, the Red Bull Junior, in inverted commas, the former DTM Mercedes driver Lucas Sauer with a 1 minute 36.236 for B-Max by Motor Park. Front row of the grid, Tomoki Nohiri. He's had a good weekend so far, showed a lot of pace in both F3, FP3 and the warm-up. He's second on the grid with a 1 minute 36.0 for Team Mugen. And on pole position, Alex Palou, his third pole position of the season, his third pole position of the last 4 races for Nakajima Racing, a 1 minute 35.9. And if he did win the championship today, he would be the first rookie to be champion at Super Formula / Formula Nippon / everything else level since Ralf Schumacher in 1996.
Well, let's see. It's a long way to go. 43 laps or 90 minutes, 250 kilometres. And the race runs out of time. I don't think this race is going to go to time. It's going to be a thriller here on the twists and turns of Suzuka circuit. And interesting on tyre choice. 2 different tyres here in Super Formula, soft and medium, and a mix of strategies. Alex Palou is starting the race by the look of it on the medium tyre, whereas a lot of the other cars in the starting field, well, the top 10 are running softs. It's interesting to see who's going to run at which tyre to start, as Sugio Matsuda, the boss of KCMG, looks on there at car 18, starting the race on wet tyres, which doesn't make any sense.
I do not get this. Do you know what? I think this is a mistake. I think they've rolled Kamui Kobayashi out on the dummy tyres, but possibly missed the marker to actually get them changed. That still doesn't make a sense. You'd still think of at least taking a penalty in that case.
Yeah, and is he going to dive into pit lane and start the race and try and start the race? Because he's going to lose so much time on those tyres. There's not going to be a downfall. This isn't some clever strategy. This is a clear mistake, and he is starting the race on wets.
I genuinely, I think they've made a catastrophic mistake.
I mean, there's Satoru Nakajima trying to work out what on earth Kobayashi is doing. But the cars line up on the grid. In case you're wondering, the roll hoop lights, those green lights on top of the roll hoops, that's the overtaking system. We'll explain that a little bit later.
Palou, he was front row for the first Suzuka race earlier on this year. Took a penalty in that, but was running very, very fast in the race when he retired. He's looking to make up for that pole position today. As you see, Yamamoto, they're the number 1 car. And now Cassidy, the number 13's number 37 team's Tom's car. The 2 main championship protagonists, and Palou on pole. Palou's got a really good shout there, but we've seen some great races from Cassidy so far this year. And now the poleman just waiting for lights out.
Now you can see confirmation he is on the medium tyre.
Green flag. It's going to be Palou on the right-hand side of your screen, left on the grid. Beside him is Nohiri. And it's go.
And they get off. Great start there by Palou, the number 16 car, but right up against the wall. That was Kobayashi, wasn't it, being squeezed, or was it the other Nakajima racing car? Wheel to wheel, though, the Ddogphace Dandelion racing cars. I think that's Yamamoto getting around the outside up into 3rd position ahead of Nirei Fukuzumi. Couldn't quite work out which one that is, but perfect start there for Nirei Fukuzumi. I'm not sure it is. It's a perfect start for Alex Palou. Nojiri then in 2nd position. There is the KCMG crew with the correct tyres for Tomoe Kobayashi.
So I can only imagine that they probably have actually missed the marker to get the tyres changed.
There is a regulation that you must have the starting tyres on by a certain point. If you're not, you have to start on the tyres that are on the car, and I'm sure the team have just made a boo-boo. Well, as
Kobayashi was the 5th championship challenger, so that will definitely pull him out of the actual championship chase, because we do have tyre strategy in this race.
That's right. There will only be 4. There you can see the 2 Docomo Dandelion racing cars coming out of hairpin on the run-through matcher up to Spoon. There's the car, the silver car. We haven't seen very much of it so far this season, but actually the real racing car, Tsukakoshi in it, is being the most competitive it's been all year. But as I say that, Nick Cassidy gets past that car and sets off in the number 37 Vantolin Team Tom's car after Naoki Yamamoto.
Cassidy had a little bit of a difficult start, was a bit sluggish away, had a battle with someone on the grid, and actually lost a couple of positions in the meantime. That's him getting one of those back, but I think Sakakoshi's going to try and retake Cassidy.
No, he's not. He's well too far back on that. Now, look, slowing down the lead of those two Dogphace Dandelion racing cars, that is, I think, Naoki Yamamoto in front, and Nick Cassidy's well in the tow, coming past the pits, pulls out up the inside of Nire Fukuzumi. Thinks better of it, but he's going to dive up around, try around the outside of turn one. That's going to be difficult. He's going to try and go into anti-bank curve. Now, looking down the field, the battles are raging throughout. And there's Kamui Kobayashi, who's not battling. He started the race on rain tyres. He must be furious.
What an absolute shocking start of the race to Kamui Kobayashi. That's really the kind of error you do not expect in modern motorsport at all. As we see some of the acrobatics from the... And it's slow as well.
It could not be going worse. Now, I'm not
on the
sure
mediums.
I'm not sure if the regulations here, because he may still have to make another stop for the softs as well.
He will absolutely have to make another stop.
I don't think the regulations cover this, because no one's sort of doing that. You know, when you get caught up by the medical car coming in after its lap, it's got to be a bit depressing, isn't it? That's your championship gone there, Mr. Kobayashi.
As you see Alex Pelou leading the race, Nohiri's second place.
Now, if he wins the race, he wins the championship.
That is the situation for all of the main championship protagonists. If they win the race, they win the championship. There's no the gap. With 13 points for a win, that would overhaul any claims in second place.
Now, while we were watching that, we haven't seen the overtaking manoeuvre, but Nick Cassidy's got past Nire Fukuzumi, and he is going toe-to-toe with well-tipped Suzuka Meister Naoki Yamamoto, who practiced here in a Toro Rosso Formula 1 car just a couple of weeks back.
Cassidy, of course, in the first Suzuka race, the first race of this season, he qualified 12th on that occasion, won the race in a brilliant drive, and he'll be hoping for more of the same. You see, Nohiri is pulling back towards Alex Pelou now. Now, is this strategy, is Pelou going to be managing his tyres slightly? Remember, this is still a 250-kilometre race. There is a long way to go.
You can see it on your screen there. Alex Pelou is on medium tyres in the number 64 Nakajima racing car. Nojiri in the 16 is on soft tyres. Naoki Yamamoto also on the medium, but Nick Cassidy is on the soft. You heard him talking on the grid just at the top of the show that he thinks this is a Honda circuit. Well, not just that Honda own it, but also the Honda fuel in the pump suits the Honda engine in the back of the Dallara SF19s. And this is a 4-cylinder turbocharged engine producing, well, 650-ish, maybe 700 brake horsepower, direct injection, very similar to a Formula 1 combustion chamber in the back of these cars, very powerful, lightweight cars. The Toyota engine in the back of Nick Cassidy's car doesn't quite like the Honda specified fuel quite so much at this track.
But he's doing very well as he won the first Suzuka race earlier on this year. And it's really very much a case of Cassidy just goes very well at this circuit. Team Toms have had issues with qualifying, not just this season, but the last couple of seasons, but did a solid effort to qualify 6th on the grid. As we see Cassidy line up Naoki Yamamoto for 3rd place. Is he going to go through 130R? Not quite this time, but he did have a look.
He's going to run into the chicane now. He's got a great run up the inside of Naoki Yamamoto and gets it done with ease.
He needed to do that. He needed to do that.
Yeah, now it's up to Cassidy just to get off down the road on those soft tyres and open up the gap to Yamamoto. They are on different strategies, so it's going to be very interesting to see how these play out. We're not going to get a clear picture towards the end of the race, but it's already looking like it's going to be quite the showdown. But what Cassidy's got to do now is get down the road and get onto the back of Alex Pelou in the lead in that Nakajima Racing Honda-powered Dallara. You can see the brake discs glowing as they go into the first corner. His team boss there, looking at the Team Toms Fuji Speedway-based Team Toyota Power on Honda's own track.
Pelou leads currently 1.6 seconds ahead of Tomoki Nohira in 2nd place. 3rd is Nick Cassidy, a further 1.6 seconds behind. Just half a second, was probably more than half a second now ahead of Naoki Yamamoto. This will be very, very, very interesting, Sam. I think Cassidy's going to need to get past Nohiri very, very quickly, not just for the actual additional position, but I think he's going to be thinking Nohiri is going to slow him up.
Yeah, and as just looking through the what's called the Musashi chicane for the motorcycles. We don't use that with the cars. Just looking happening at the moment. After just 4 laps, the championship's already boiled down to 3 competitors in reality, so that could all change. Kobayashi's out of it, over a minute down now.
Kenta Yamashita, the 4th championship contender, 8 points behind the current leader, Naoki Yamamoto. He is actually running 8th place at the moment on the medium tyres, just 8 seconds behind the race leader, Alex Palou. But it would, as mentioned in the pre-race, it would require significant issues for Palou, Cassidy and Yamamoto realistically to bring Kenta Yamashita back into this. Kamui Kobayashi, of course, was actually running quite well at the last race in Okayama. He was running 4th in the race and would have actually brought him right into this championship challenge. But Alex Palou had a crash with him on the final lap of that race, which took Kobayashi out of the race and left him 10 points behind. Palou, of course, went on to finish 4th in that race.
Yeah, we didn't see that on the screen. It was a bit of mystery until after the race we worked out who'd had the actual contact. And it was indeed Palou. Well, he's doing well here. Alex Palou has been the sensation of the 2019 season. He just came out of nowhere, didn't he? And has really shown up the field. Honda didn't select him as a driver. It was the team. Ajima Racing decided Alex Palou to have a punt on the little-known Spaniard. And, well, what a punt it was.
I've watched Palou quite a few times over the years in European Formula 3 and previously in European Euro Formula Open.
Well, just looking at the gap there, falling back between Naoki Yamamoto and the other Dillane racing car of Niro Fukuzumi. Now a long way off the back of Nick Cassidy, who's right on the back of Nojiri there. Now that's the Toyota-powered Dallara of Nick Cassidy taking on the Honda-powered car of Nojiri. They're both on soft tyres, but look at Cassidy. He's already working his way up through the field and battles through the field as well. Now we're looking back down. I think that's Sekiguchi being chased by Kenta Yamashita and Makino. Yes, it is. And Harrison Newey there. He's got stickers. He's found all the rest of the stickers for his car.
He did have a bit of an off. Harrison Newey, of course, finally got his first podium of the year last time out, as we see Cassidy really pressing Nohiri hard. Yes, Newey got his first podium last time out and had a big crash in FP2, and he's recovered well, but another driver recovering is Nick Cassidy, 3rd place at the moment, looking to get 2nd. You don't think he's quite close enough yet at this point.
Now look at the lights on the roll hoop. You see how they're flashing slowly on the roll hoop? That means they've both used up their little bit of overtaking boost. So each car has, I think it's about 30 seconds of overtaking system boost. And that is an extra amount of fuel flow into the combustion chamber. So they get a little bit of a power boost. They've got fuel flow restrictors just like Formula 1 cars on these Super Formula engines. And when you see the lights flashing very quickly, they've got the overtaking system in action. And they flash at the rear and on the roll hoop. And if they're flashing slowly, it means they're unable to use that extra bit of power. But look at these two cars battling for 2nd position. They will start flashing very, very quickly. But they're both gaining on Alex Palou in the lead significantly as they get into the chicane. There's Kamui Kobayashi way down the order in 20th position, coming out of the final chicane. And the leaders are already on the way to Spoon Corners. Now, if you're enjoying this, don't forget to hit like and subscribe. And you can join and help support this channel. See all in the race description, all the benefits of joining. Erwin, Robbie, Walt Moehle, Stephen Manguino, Isaac Liu, Walt Moehle again, Melbeanyo, Corey Jott, Dermot, XXX, Joe Quirk, Darien, Quinn, AJ Rottini, Ddogphace, Morcane. Username is in use, Bucktide, Dougal14, that's Leo Gorman that is. And here's the battle for the lead. I'll come back to that as they go back into 130R.
This is actually playing out quite well for Alex Palou. He's not pushing overly hard at the moment on the medium tyres, just letting the tyres do their job, letting the car do their job, whereas 2nd and 3rd place Nojiri and Cassidy are really pushing at the moment on those soft tyres, probably pushing more than they would necessarily want to at this point in the race.
Well, look at that. You can see Nojiri's got a great toe into the first corner, but he's not going to try and get it done there. Will he ever go into anti-bank curve? It looks like he's setting up for that, but he's got to go defensive. Nick Cassidy's right there.
He went wide there, lost quite a gap. Overshot, really.
No, he was setting himself up to have a little bit of a run through this sector, but it didn't quite work. So as they get up towards Dunlop, Cassidy's now going to have a try and run through Dunlop. You can't pass in the Degners, though. Everybody tries, it goes off. Now, here comes the Dillane Racing crew. Is that going to be for Naoki Yamamoto?
Because the pit window is about to open, Sam. It opens on lap 8. So if you want to make your mandatory tyre change, you can from the next time around.
That's all the medium tyre runners. They're getting as quick, those tyres gone as quick as possible. Well, as Cassidy now has a look at hairpin to get past Nojiri. These two are going to be right on the back of Palou any minute.
Just note, Naoki Yamamoto on the medium tyres in 4th place. He's actually dropped 5 seconds behind these leaders. He will fall very much into 19th place should he actually stop this time around, but he would do so with a gap of 20 seconds of free air ahead of him.
Yeah, exactly. So that's an interesting point. They've got Neri Fukuzumi to think about as well, but the championship points are what really matters today. Now, look at the draft. Nick Cassidy's got coming back down the backstretch into 130R. The last time I called a race, Cassidy was driving in. He ended up in the fence there. His own error, he claims, in the Ferrari in the Suzuka 10 hours. Not sure it really was. Even later after the race, he said it was his fault. I don't think so. But look at this. All three of them got well, the engine in that train is Alex Palou. The overtaking system is impact, and Naoki Yamamoto is in the pits. It's all going on at once. Now we need to not watch we need to watch Yamamoto, but at the same time we need to watch the battle at the lead. Yeah, there you go. The TV cameras worked it out. Nick Cassidy had a stab into the first corner, didn't make it stick. Now he's going to be trying to set them up for Dunlop as Yamamoto comes in for his soft tyres. As does, I think that was Kenta Yamashita
in as well, as is Sukakoshi, as is Makino, as is Nakajima, as is Harasanui and Oshima.
So basically everybody who was on mediums is now on the correct tyres.
Tunimoto is still out, and Alex Palou.
So now we have almost 2 races in one. This is the race for the guys who've made a pit stop. Naoki Yamamoto leads.
That's key, sorry Sam. That is key that Yamamoto has got out ahead of everyone, because now he does have that clear track ahead of him. As he said, he's got basically what is effectively a 20-second gap in front of him to run in clean air, set his pace, and actually manage to gap to the drivers in front. And if he sets a good pace, and bear in mind, Nohiri and Cassidy are both stuck behind Palou as it is.
Yeah, and this is going to be a battle of the lap times at the moment. Cassidy looks getting a bit ragged there, dropping back a bit from Nigeria. He's got a great run though down the west stretch. He's side by side with Alex Palou.
I think he's got it.
He's going to get that up the inside, change of lead into 130R. Easy. Will Palou come back at him into the chicane. Cassidy's now going to have a run up the inside. Big lunge down the inside. He didn't quite make that stick. I thought there was going to be contact there between Cassidy and Palou.
Are we going to see Palou pitting? Yes, we are. Palou pits, and I just wonder though, have Cassidy and Nohiri lost quite a lot of time in that gap, stuck behind Alex Palou? They weren't able to put in the times they would normally put in on the soft tyres. As we see Palou pull into the box.
And there is Neri Fukuzumi coming in as well. Wales tastes great. Francevic, Melbeanyo, Klowde, Tom Montecinos, Dave Dzwonczyk, Robbie Francevic, Christian MILESI, GPA 95, Robbie G, Nolin, Dillane, Jonathan Sheeran, MP Rallyvideos, Tom Porter, Gaunt Pisces 19, Devin Mitchell, Derek Lundie, and GG0454. Thank you for your support. It's Super Formula season as this second wave of pit stops gets underway.
And of course,
lap 9, and that's been quite an exciting opening to the race, I think it's fair to say.
It has actually been. I think this is Yamamoto coming now, Sam. It is Yamamoto, and I think Fukuzumi.
No, we had Yamamoto.
Yeah. The driver's
Fukuzumi's got that out in front of Yamamoto.
But Fukuzumi, I believe, will probably fall behind because Fukuzumi, Palou, etc., are all going to be on cold tyres. Yamamoto's would have lost an additional 4 seconds or so trying to get those tyres up to temperature. Remember, no tyre warmers in Super Formula.
And that's exactly right. That's what's gone on here. Of course, the Dddogphace Dandelion Racing driver is not going to make life particularly difficult for Yamamoto. A bit of blue smoke out of the back of that Honda engine there, though, I just noticed. As he downshifted, just a little puff.
And then it'll be interesting to see the gap between Yamamoto and Palou as they come around next time. It was 5 seconds or 5.8 seconds before the pit stops. Has that actually shrunk somewhat with that additional lap on fresh tyres that Yamamoto had? I'm not sure it's going to change that much. But we see out front, Nohiri leads, Cassidy 1.5 seconds behind. They are trying to make as much of a gap
Cassidy
as possible.
1.5 seconds behind Nigeria, who they were together on track a little while ago. Has Cassidy used up these soft tyres already?
They've been getting very good, very long life out of these soft tyres so far
that's
this year.
That's exactly what I'm thinking. So they may have sort of a non-linear performance window, so they sort of drop off and then come back in. A bit like yielding a piece of material on a tensile test machine, if you've ever done that. Most people have.
Anyway.
There you go. Comments about the Young's modulus in a commentary. Let's Go Racing.
Pelu,
My timing screen's gone blank. Wonderful. And so
Pelu,
there's.
Pelu is the leading driver who has pitted. He's in 8th place. He's got a 43-second gap behind actual race leader Nolin at the moment. Probably looking in around 40 seconds to do a clean pit stop, 38 to 40 seconds to do a clean pit stop, but then you also have to take into account the time lost exiting the pits while on cold tyres, and also take into account that the likes of Cassidy, Nolin, Sakaguchi, Ashira, Vips, Nakajima, Hour are all going to have to go on the medium tyre, Sam. They're going to want to spend as little time on those tyres as humanly possible.
Well, I was trying to have a look at the lap times as the timing screen died. It's back now and see who's doing what. The fastest man on track at the moment is Nick Cassidy.
His last lap round was a woman of 41.4, only 2/10 down on Ashira.
He's not the fastest man on track anymore, actually. That was just a one-off. The fastest man on track at the moment, by the look of things, is in fact Nolin now.
But interesting, I mean, he's now, after several laps of pushing hard behind Nolin and Pelu, is Cassidy now in that stage of just eking his tyres out a bit? Because he can't afford to blow his tyres completely before 20 laps.
Yeah, and we've seen how poor the medium tyres are.
You're talking potentially a 1 to 1.5 second gap between the softs and the mediums here.
I wonder if that is what he's doing. He's just going to. He's got his sensible head
Because
back on, and
that is actually one of the reasons he won the first race in Suzuka. Was the middle of that race, rather than driving or chopping through the field, he edged his tyres out as the race went on, and the strategy came to him later in that race.
He's losing a bit of time though. 5/10 a lap at the moment out to Nolin. That is the gap you can see on your screen. Nolin leading there in the Motul sponsored car.
But I think the gap he's going to be looking out for, Sam, is that gap to Pelu and Naoki Yamamoto, who are currently 8th and 10th position.
That's the gap he's got to maintain. Now, Pelu is currently running slower than Cassidy.
And losing about 6/10 to 8/10 per lap at the moment. Cassidy 2nd place, Pelu 8th place. The gap is 42 seconds at the moment. The gap between Cassidy and Naoki Yamamoto is 45.5 seconds.
Yamamoto also losing time to Cassidy. So this is, I think maybe you're right. I think Cassidy's realised Nolin isn't really a factor.
He's not in a title
fight. And actually, if things finish the way they are now, Cassidy will be sitting pretty. However, Cassidy does have to stop again, and Yamamoto does not, and nor does Alex Pelu.
And both of those are probably going to be thinking of the tyre conservation strategy as well. As I said, Pelu's got 18 seconds ahead of him, chasing Lucas Zara. To be pretty honest, Lucas Zara's not stopped yet. He's on tyres that are only 7 or 8 laps older, so he's not. The difference in is not going to be so significant. It's going to be a huge lap time difference at the moment. As you see, 8th place Alex Pelu on screen at the moment.
Sakaguchi hang out in 3rd position. Well, it's going to be an interesting one to watch. Running some relatively decent lap times as well, taking time out of Cassidy, not very much, but taking a little bit out. As Nolin has been, the Team Mugen cast has already been released. Now there is Kobayashi. Scroll down, and he's running 18th at the moment, and way off the pace as well.
It's been not a good day at all.
Not a nice day for the KTM team.
That's just such a strange error from such an experienced team.
Yeah, it just didn't seem to make sense. The car's off the pace. I don't know.
Looking at Kaz Nakajima there, he is 15th place at the moment, just ahead of Makino and Sho Suboi. An up and down year, I think it's fair to say, for Kaz Nakajima.
Sam Harpham on the chat. We can watch the chat here in the commentary box on Let's Go Racing. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you're on the channel. He says tea, crumpets and super formula. What a way to start a Sunday. I haven't had crumpets in ages, mainly because I don't own a toaster.
And if this is the content that you love to watch, don't forget, like and subscribe and join to help support Let's Go Racing. We carry not just Super Formula, but many much content and videos and races and whatnot through the year.
Motor racing content and car content. It's great. World's Fastest Gamer's on at the moment.
This is fucking
To
race
our
leader,
producer.
Montecinos here.
World's Fastest Gamer is elsewhere on the channel. They're out in Las Vegas at the moment. Esports turn into reality. I've heard a rumour, which I know to be true, but I don't know the details of, that the winner of World's Fastest Gamer is going to get a professional racing contract. Well, here's somebody who does have a professional racing contract. It's the TCS Nakajima car. On the back.
That's
That's
Makino
That's
on
Makino.
Shosuba.
Yeah, on Shosuba. I was getting a bit confused.
Pelu's a long way behind.
I think the TV director got a bit confused as well there. Thinking, oh, it's a really close battle for Pelu. It's not.
And I think actually, so Shosuba has just got past Makino a few moments ago.
This is a battle for 16th and 17th.
It's just Kaz Nakajima just ahead of him.
Yep. 15th. All of them out for points at the moment.
Let's go back to.
I think that's the car the TV director.
That's Alex Pelu.
Yeah, it is indeed.
And
just behind Alex Pelu, you can see Fukuzumi.
And interesting as well, as you mentioned, the two Dandelion racing cars, Fukuzumi 9th place and Naoki Yamamoto 10th place, holding position at the moment. Pelu, by the way, the gap to Pelu and Cassidy, currently 2nd place, is 41.9 seconds. That gap is kind of holding steady. And it is very much a case of Cassidy's still doing solid lap times. He's not pushing, he's not challenging Nohiri for the lead. He doesn't need to at this point in time.
And here we've got a replay of the start in a split screen. And it's gone away again. And there's a fixed camera of one player. And here is the split screen of the start.
Now,
just look on the side of the screen. I think it's the pit wall.
Yeah,
One of the TCS Nakajima cars really got squeezed by Cassidy, actually.
Cassidy had a slow start. You can see Sakakoshi's gone past there, and Cassidy moves to the right towards the pit wall to try and keep the. Oh, that was a slow.
Lukasawa had a terrible start.
I didn't see that at all, actually.
Yeah, so Cassidy squeezed, and you can see going round the outside of turn 1.
That's
is Naoki Yamamoto getting it done on his teammate, trying to get it done in turn 2 on his into second. Didn't make that stick though.
Sakakoshi did the same, went round Cassidy, Cassidy then repassed a lap or so later, as we see. Tomoki Nohiri is a decent driver, actually. Tomoki Nohiri, he hasn't had a huge amount of success over the years. He's been runner-up in Japanese Formula 3 national class several years ago, but he has won races in Super Formula at Tsuko at least, and has had a best finish of 3rd in Suzuka previously last year, and was 4th here at the start of this season. Currently 12th in the standings with 11 points. Not a bad effort, and I think he'll pick up a few more points today should it keep on going like this. Now, Pelu is 45 seconds behind race leader Nohiri. Nohiri's got 2.5 seconds over Nick Cassidy.
And that time you see on the screen is the real important gap. The gap between Cassidy and Pelu is holding. That's what Cassidy's doing. He's just maintaining the gap, saving his tyres. And because Pelu is also, I guess, must be trying to save his tyres.
But Pelu's in the 43s.
But he's slower than Cassidy, you see. So he's got to be saving those tyres.
He was 8/10 slower than Cassidy last time around. There is a fine line as well, Sam. There is a fine line between saving your tyres and maybe just going a little bit so slow. As we see Fukuzumi challenging, maybe.
Fukuzumi is going to have a run. Fukuzumi's got nothing to lose by mucking about with Pelu, because by taking risks with Alex Pelu, it helps his teammate Naoki Yamamoto, who's 1 place back in 10th currently. So Fukuzumi will have got the order from his team boss to go and have a go.
Fukuzumi, of course, started 4th in this race. And he'll be looking to end the season on a high. Another driver who's actually done solidly so far this year. Made a couple of races in Super Formula last year, but up until now, he's been racing mostly in Formula 3, GP3, F2 level, making his full-time move to Super Formula this season. And solid effort, I think. Solid effort.
It is, and a lot of people can, wondering where these cars. We said it in the intro briefly. A lot of people wondering what the pace of these cars is, say, compared to Formula 2. Well, if you compared Alex Pelu's pole time here at Suzuka to the 2014 Japanese Grand Prix qualifying sessions, Alex Pelu would have out-qualified Roman Grosjean's Lotus Renault car, which was by far from the back. Thanks to Manuel Razzo as well, who's saying he hopes to see Super Formula next year. Well, we can say for sure Super Formula is going to be on Let's Go Racing. here on YouTube next year. But there is that battle with Makino, yes, having a...
No, that's Pelu. That's Pelu. That's Fukuzumi. He's
that's
trying
Fukuzumi, sorry, on Pelu.
and he's still trying very heavily to get past.
Pelu shouldn't try and fight him too hard because he's not in a championship scrap with Fukuzumi, and it's Fukuzumi's teammate. And I wonder if he realises it's the other Dopamine Dandelion car.
But Pelu does need to win, I think, Sam. There is that 3-point gap to Naoki Yamamoto's. Pelu defends hard to the inside. Is Fukuzumi going to do it anyway?
Round the outside of turn 1, that could be risky, but he's defended through there. He's going to squeeze him on the exit.
Fantastic driving from both drivers there.
Yeah, but Fukuzumi will have been... The team's been on the radio. Dopamine Team Dandelion have been on the radio to Fukuzumi. Said, I'll go all out. Have at it. Try and get in front of him. It doesn't matter. Take risks. He can't.
He can't, but also Pelu's in a position where he actually needs to stay ahead. Second place, if Cassidy and Yamamoto are nearby, won't be good enough for Pelu to actually take the championship.
Very good point, yes.
He needs to stay at the top of the pack of the pitted cars, as it were. And the gap to Pelu is 8th place. The gap last time around to race leader Nohiri was something like 45 seconds. That gap is 42.5 to second place man Nick Cassidy. And Cassidy is still taking up to half a second a lap each time around.
Pelu's last lap was a 1:44.
Cassidy's
last lap was a 42.7. So he is losing. There is time. There you can see it on your screen. What the delta between Pelu and Yamamoto is.
Pelu's losing an awful lot of time in defending so aggressively as well, which is the other kind of conundrum, part of this conundrum. You see Yamamoto just in the background there, watching, waiting. His position is not as critical. He is currently championship leader, but he only has a 1-point advantage over Cassidy and only 3 ahead of Alex Pelu.
I think this battle that you're seeing on your screen right now is destroying the Nakajima racing driver, the Spaniard Alex Pelu's chances of this title, you know?
I think he might be right, Sam. I think the gap from Pelu to race leader is now 49 seconds. The gap from Cassidy to Pelu is 47 seconds exactly. This is coming towards, at this point, 17 laps into this 43 laps race, this is coming towards Nick Cassidy. Now, I wonder if we will actually see Naoki Yamamoto begin to turn it on in maybe the final third of this race. He will ease past Fukuzumi because they are teammates in Dandelion Racing. And if Pelu's tyres are that shot at that point, he may be able to find an easy way past. But if Cassidy is so far ahead and can make his pit stop, bear in mind, 47 seconds, he's going to need in around 38 to 40 to make the pit stop, maybe 42 to cover for errors, and potentially lose between 3 to 5 seconds on the outlap because he's going to be on the cold medium tyres. Let's not forget, Cassidy's going to have to be on the medium tyres, so he's going to be thinking of putting even more seconds on that gap to counter the time he will lose on the slower rubber.
You're watching the 2019 JAF Grand Prix here on Let's Go Racing. It's the Super Formula finale this year. Dan Espy's joined us for the first time. He's been living on a rock as Nirei Fukuzumi goes around the outside into 130R. Easy, taking candy for a baby around Alex Pelu, and that could be the end of Alex Pelu's title hopes, as you were just hearing. This is a title showdown. It started as a 5-way fight. Kobayashi already is out of it after a tyre error on the grid. We're not sure what was behind that. Alex Pelu, the Spaniard, looks like he is fading. His championship challenge is fading. This looks like it's going to be a straight fight now between Nick Cassidy in second position and Nirei Fukuzumi. No, it's not. It's going to be Naoki Yamamoto in 10th position at the moment, but he's made a pit stop. Nick Cassidy still needs to, and they're going to be fighting on track.
Put this into context, Cassidy now has 49 seconds over Alex Pelu.
And
it's off! That is Nakajima. That is Nakajima and
Makino. Was that Makino? I thought that was Nui.
Oh, it is Nui. Makino was there as well, just behind them. So that is in turn 1.
That was morally hazardous.
We will see what happens here. So Harrison Nui going down the inside. Will he go wide? I wonder. That is silly.
That's Nakajima's, entirely Nakajima's fault.
That is silly.
He thought he could have a run up No.
Got his inside right wheel on the grass and the dirt. It momentarily loose. There wasn't even enough room there anyway.
He will doubtless say that Newig shut the door on him, but sorry, no, he didn't.
That was done. That was done.
He tried to come back at him into turn 2. Didn't work. Didn't look like any damage on either of the cars, and they're both back in the race.
Yeah, I'm not even completely sure they actually touched. I think they just
Oh no, they touched.
spun simultaneously.
No, they definitely touched.
So see on screen that is a recovering Jima. I wonder if the stewards will look at it, as you said, as a moral hazard.
Yeah. So that wasn't Nick Cassidy. That was his teammate Nakajima. Cars look the same, but the car to keep your eye on is the 37 car. Juan Vega asks again what the green lights on the cars are. The green light indicates the usage of the overtaking system. As you see as the race progresses, the light will change colour through blue to red and then go out altogether. And it's a little bit of extra fuel flow. The cars get into the combustion chamber for a certain amount of time. It's up to the drivers when they use it. It's a far better solution than something silly like DRS, and really spices up the rating.
What we have seen in the last couple of moments, Sam, is Naoki Yamamoto taking a second out of Alex Palou. Now I think this is where Yamamoto's race really kicks into gear. He's going to get past Palou. He will be eased past Fukuzumi by the Dandelion team racing. And that will put Yamamoto at the top of the pitted cars. Now, the gap between Yamamoto and Cassidy, as you see on screen at the moment, is 51 seconds.
Yeah, but that's why the radio call's gone out to Yamamoto to put his foot down a little bit, because at the moment Yamamoto is behind Cassidy, not just in the standings as you can see, but Cassidy's got time to make a pit stop, put on the medium tyres and keep driving. Cassidy has to get a phase on the slower tyre out of the window. How long until Cassidy makes the pit stop is the difference. 23 laps to go here at Suzuka. There you can see those lights flashing as Yamamoto does. Well, it's a carbon copy of his teammate Randy outside.
Oh, very close, very close. Yamamoto goes off the track and into runoff area. Now, that was interesting.
The stewards will be looking at that. Now, did Palou squeeze Yamamoto unfairly? Yamamoto's dropped a huge amount of time coming out of the final chicane.
I wonder if he's got a lot of dirt on his tyres.
Yeah, I think he has. Now, look at this. He tries to go around the outside like his teammate does. Palou's there.
I think
that's
Palou
fair,
held his line. Palou held his line. Palou did not move across. I think very much a case of Yamamoto just ran out of road before he had the position done.
Now remember, these guys are fighting for the championship as well as track position. Well, Cassidy would be happy if he saw that, but he hasn't got time to watch the screens as he goes around. Do you remember Damon Hill once saying he was watching the big screens as he was driving around Suzuka?
Yes.
Never quite sure whether I believe him or not.
So you see Suzuka on screen there just behind Yamamoto. Suzuka actually started 7th in this race. As you said, mentioned earlier on, the Real Racing Honda, they've been very quietly going about their business.
I have to say that the Real Racing team have really upped their game this weekend for some reason. There it is. There is the silver Real Racing car.
And Suzuka's not scored any points yet so far this season. He'll be looking for a points finish today. In a couple of races they've qualified reasonably well, but just not have the actual race finishes. The closest they've come to a points finish was at the third round at Suzuka, where Suzuka came home 9th.
And that's one of the interesting things. So we've mentioned they've raced their game. A little bit of just to keep your eye who's in 5th position.
Yuri Vips,
first ever Super Formula race, the Red Bull driver, half distance, is sitting in 5th position. He's still got to make a pit stop, so he's behind the cars in front in real terms. It's not a bad debut, is it?
They're doing a very, very good job, actually. He's eking out his tyres at the moment in 1 minute 43s. Bearing in mind,
Pato Ward still, but there you go.
Bearing in mind, Vips was in the FIA International Formula 3 Championship this year, running the Pirelli tyre, so he has experience of eking out tyres if needs be. James Guthrie asks, how many points will Cassidy win the title by if the order stays the same?
I'll leave that with you, Pete.
Oh.
Thanks, James. That's a great question.
Gosh.
Here's Naoki Yamamoto.
チャンピオンとしてはチャンピオンを失うわけにはいかないので、そこもしっかりと考えた戦い方、ただ勝つことだけを考えて挑戦するんじゃなくて、しっかりチャンピオンを目指す戦い方っていうのがこの最終戦は特に必要だと思うので、その辺はしっかりと状況を見て戦っていきたいなと思います。
as he mentioned earlier on, it's James Guthrie's question: how much would Cassidy win a title by if it stays like this? Well, Cassidy currently second place. He would get 8 points for that. If it plays out like this, and Yamamoto comes home with third or fourth, Cassidy will just pip Yamamoto to the title. We will see how this race goes on, because let's not forget the top 7 still need to pit. They still need to change to the medium tyres. So this could all still change in the second half of this race. Cassidy though needs to keep building the gap. As we see Yamamoto going down
again.
He's going down the inside this time.
Got it.
And that is a critical pass, because that brings Naoki Yamamoto past Alex Palou. He now only has his teammate ahead of him as a pitted car. Now Yamamoto lost 6 seconds, by the way, to Fukuzumi already.
It's interesting though, as Palou's getting past now Suzuka in the silver real racing car. Palou has lost all the pace in that car, you know.
I think he's blown his tyres.
I think he has, yeah. That's interesting. So when did we get those tyres on the car? Because that means the softs don't go that long, and that could mean trouble for Nick Cassidy up in second position. Though Cassidy's lap times have indeed dropped off, 43.2. Cassidy is losing a chunk of time now to these cars.
The gap critically for Cassidy is he has 53 seconds over Yamamoto.
Yes, but those medium tyres he's got to put on are so much slower than these softs that all these title rivals have got. But actually, will those softs go the distance?
Well, that's the other issue for some of these drivers who changed onto the soft tyres at the first chance of asking.
Are we in two-stop territory?
I'd be surprised if the championship challengers risked it. Palou might.
I think Palou's got to now. It's his only hope.
20 laps remaining.
Honestly, and it's hurting our last few weekends. So our performance has got much better, but the mistakes are making us start from quite back in the race, and that's the most important thing this weekend, is to stop the mistakes. But yeah, we've lost a lot, or quite a few, too many points from that.
There you go. That's Nick Cassidy talking about his season so far, how he's got to this point. There have been some mistakes made by the team and some by him.
And yet Cassidy did actually lose, I think it was 5th position, challenging Kobayashi for a position in the last round in Okayama, and ended up scoring no points whatsoever. That could be 4 critical points to
yeah, it really could be.
And a championship that is this close, as we see, is it Kunimoto? No, sorry, Kenta Yamashita. Sorry, that's Kenta Yamashita. And getting past Alex Palou.
Yeah, exactly.
Palou is just falling
through the field. His tyres have gone all something wrong with the car. He's got to stop now.
He's already lost 6 seconds to Yamamoto in the last couple of laps.
Satoru Nakajima needs to turn to his team and get them in and put on a new set of tyres.
Palou's in the 1 minute 47.5.
Yeah, he's falling through the field. Palou's championship hopes, I think, are now over unless the team roll the dice.
I think we may be down now to the top 2. So
when you look at the rear, you can see the rear of the car moving around. He's sliding the car around. He's lost all of his tyres. He has to pit. He's
nearly 6 seconds slower than his best lap, which came on lap 11. So yes, Palou at the moment in 1 minute 40 seconds, 0.5.
He's got to come in and make another stop. These tyres are done.
And that's interesting. It is only lap 24, Sam.
That is a key point, because these guys who stopped early on, like Palou. Now, Palou obviously has looked after his tyres, and that is something of an experienced driver will be better at. But that, Naoki Yamamoto, he stopped as well on around the same period. Now, here we go. This is how Palou lost that position.
Went out wide into Spoon.
Yeah, tried to get a better run down the west stretch, but didn't really work. He's going to be... there you go. He just hasn't got the traction out of the corner there. Well...
And of course was Ryo Hirakawa going past.
And you could see how much time Takeshi has made in the real racing car. He's disappeared into the distance.
Cassidy, by the way, is somewhat back up the pace. He's now back into the 1 minute 42. So he had a couple of laps where he lost some pace, but he seems to be back on it for the moment.
I mean, he's been really impressive the way he looks after tyres this season, and I think that should be a message sent out to some people in another series who've got yellow noses on their cars.
And Cassidy, this is critical, because Cassidy now has a 55-second gap over Yamamoto.
Yeah, and he's stretching it, and that's good.
Nahiri leads.
Najiri's probably thinking, well,
where is everyone?
Where is everybody gone? is because he's not a championship contender. Cassidy stopped fighting him. That was a clear radio call as well.
And I think Cassidy was in danger possibly of destroying his tyres in those first few laps when they were both behind Alex Paley at the beginning of this race.
Now, if Cassidy switches onto, if Pelou switches onto a two-stop strategy, he's going to fall down he's going to go to the back of the field, but then have the best tyres on towards the end of the race. Now, that means he could probably get ahead of some cars that have still got problems or got to pit. Could he get back into contention? Might be a bit of a pit. He's going to have to overtake the entire field, but he will have much better tyres.
It is a stretch, I fear.
It's his only option, I think. There's Naoki Yamamoto.
So the gap 55 seconds to Cassidy.
Yamamoto's lap times are currently about the same as those of Nick Cassidy. So the gap is being maintained. Peter Black asks, do these guys have push to pass? They have a type of push to pass. They have a boost system, overtaking system. That's what the roll hoop lights are all about. And they get a little bit of extra fuel flow into the combustion chamber, a little bit of extra grunt while the button's pressed.
See Yamamoto on the screen, and if you're liking this racing, if you're liking this action, click like and subscribe and join Let's Go Race and help support this channel. We have more Super Formula for 2020 and a whole lot more content, esports, and so much else actually for 2020. And you have all a large video archive there to session watch over the Christmas period when frankly nothing else is on television.
Right, to explain, speaking of Christmas lights, the lights on the roll hoop, as you can see on this car, the green light being solid means that the overtaking system is not currently in use, but he's got almost a full charge. You will see through the race the lights change colour. If you see the lights flashing quickly, the overtaking system is in use. The driver's got his finger on the button and there's extra fuel going into the combustion chamber and the guy gets more grunt. If the light is flashing slowly, the system cannot be used because the driver's just used it.
What's interesting, Sam, at this point, as you see Cassidy on screen now, is Naoki Yamamoto still 9th place. He actually lost 7 seconds to his teammate Fukuzumi in that time he was stuck behind Alex Paley. In 2 laps, he actually lost 6 seconds. Yamamoto's not catching his teammate at all. In fact, Fukuzumi's pulling away slightly, only a few tenths of a second per lap. But Yamamoto at this stage is not making ground on Fukuzumi. Now, we do realise Yamamoto pitted at the first opportunity, and he does have to eke those tyres out right to the end. There's another 17 laps left.
Yamamoto doesn't have to worry about Fukuzumi there.
No, he doesn't. But the gap is now 7.5 seconds.
It's a shame that Super Formula ruled out last lap pit stops for tyres, which happened earlier in the season with Walt, because actually there is actually a strategy that would have played out if Cassidy stopped for another set of softs, went off, opened up the gap over the guys who were struggling with the tyre life, and then made the last lap pit stop onto the mediums.
You can pitch 2 laps from the end, but that's pretty much it.
But you'd still have to do it. Pablo Habibo Figueiredo says, are the pit stops mandatory? You have to use both compound of tyres during the race, so you have to do at least 1 pit stop.
And in this race, there is also a mandatory tyre window as well. You cannot stop before lap 8, and you have to pit by the end of lap 41.
Yes. There's also refuelling, so the cars don't necessarily all start with full tanks. There's different fuel strategies going on, and the teams can refuel however they like or whenever they like. So you'll see most teams taking a bit of fuel on during the pit stop as well. Basically, these are the rules Formula One needs to adopt.
Cassidy, 2nd place, 3.2 seconds behind Tomoki Nohira, race leader. Both Cassidy and Nohira are doing the kind of mid to late 1 minute 42s. They're both stretching their tyres out. Cassidy only needs to keep doing what he's doing at the moment to win the championship. Nohiri, who's only won one Super Formula race, so that was at Sugo back in 2014, 5.5 years ago. I think he's keen just to win another race. They're doing what they need to do at the moment. The gap for Cassidy to Yamamoto is 55 seconds at the moment. That is more than enough as it stands to get and have a pit stop, have a couple of laps on the medium tyres, taking into account the time you will lose on the cold tyres as well. As it stands, I think Cassidy right now is in pretty good shape. But there's still 17 laps left.
Yeah, and it's going to be a crucial 17 laps and a fascinating 17 laps because we do have these pit stops to come, as you were just saying. And I think the way it plays out in my head, at least, Cassidy's going to stop probably in about 10 laps' time because his lap times are all right at the moment. He will put on the medium tyre and then he'll start to lose time on the medium tyre, at which point Yamamoto will start to catch up with him. And then we're going to have a battle on two different tyre compounds as Cassidy goes on the defence against Naoki Yamamoto. And there's a couple other guys out there who could, come and spoil the party. Sakaguchi is going to be an interesting one to watch towards the end of this race. What can Yuri Vips do from there? He needs, his debut Super Formula race. He's been quite impressive as he just falls down the field.
Vips, I think, Vips has pitted. He's just come into pits.
Yes, he has.
As you see on the screen there.
Now this could be interesting. So Vips is obviously run out of the soft. He's going to put on the medium tyre. There they are. Magic Jack at the back. Don't get to see it. Magic Jack at the front's quite good though.
It's called Norman, by the way.
Is it now?
Yes. Norman Magic Jack. Unstalled.
There you go. That's what happens in your first race. Well, curse of the commentator there, I think, mate. The doctor isn't going to be very happy.
I think Vips has done a solid job so far this year. He showed quite a good pace in the final practice sessions as well. So, and there we go. The team movement car gets going.
Yeah, rookie error that.
But it is his first Super Formula race weekend, and he's quite a highly rated young man. I'd be interested to see if he is here next year again. We'd quite like to see Yuri Vips. I covered a lot of his races in Formula 3.
It'd be nice if Helmut Marko would bring back Atto Ward as well, but that's not going to happen because he's left the Red Bull program.
I thought you were going to say Enrico Bernaldi there.
Well, that'd be interesting, wouldn't it? He was a Red Bull back driver in the Orange Arrows car.
And also the reason why Kimi Räikkönen got his Formula 1 debut. I'll leave that for another time. I'll tell you later. As we see Yamamoto on screen. Yamamoto's very much settled into a pace of the early 1 minute 43s. He is about 3/10 of a second, half a second lap quicker than Cassidy as it stands at the moment. Yamamoto, of course, on tyres that are 8 laps younger. So we shall see how this is going. The gap is still 55 seconds. He needs more. He needs more than that. But also Yamamoto is going to be aware that he has tyres that are over 20 laps old. He still needs to eke them out to the end of the race as well. So this is going to be a challenge because the likes of Yamamoto, Fukuzumi, etc. are Yamamoto probably more so because he's had that battle with Pelu. Probably going to be losing a bit of time as the race comes to its conclusion.
Cassidy's last lap was a 43.7.
As we see Pelu pitting. Pelu's in the pits.
Yeah. Well, that's overdue, isn't it? They left him out too long.
From 14. He was in the 1 minute 45s, 46s.
Another set of softs going on. His lap times will be interesting to watch.
And slow on the left rear.
Well, I think that's the end of his championship hopes as well. Bad luck there.
Shame because I think Pelu's driven very, very well this year. I think he's marked himself out as...
Sakaguchi's cruise ready down there as well.
Pelu's marked himself out as a driver for the future, a driver to watch, Sam. As he comes out ahead.
The real racing car came in as well. I couldn't quite see it. It's Sakaguchi.
That's Sakaguchi in the pits now, changing onto the mediums.
It looks silver if he drove in there, but...
He's getting
a bit of fuel going in, still holding him first.
Have a slow getaway there from Sakaguchi.
Neatest set of pit stops today. Sun's getting a bit long at Suzuka. You get a lovely sunset. You can see if you're sitting up in the commentary boxes or in the press room, you can look out to sea and see the big ships going into Nagoya.
Now, what's this Fukuzumi?
That is one of the Dillane racing cars. Yes, it is. That's
Fukuzumi.
There is Yamamoto.
Now that's interesting.
That
Sakaguchi, that is the size of the gap. Sakaguchi who was 4 seconds behind Cassidy, has pitted and got out ahead of Fukuzumi.
Yeah,
now
but
we're anticipating Fukuzumi is going to get by Sekiguchi as a case of warm tires.
What we need to look at is the lap time differential between Naoki Yamamoto here in car 1 and Sekiguchi once his tyres, the medium tyres, have got up to temperature, because that is what the Toms team, the Guntolin team Toms of Nick Cassidy will be looking at, because that'll dictate when they need to make their stop and how much time Cassidy is going to be losing. At the moment, Nick Cassidy is doing a 43.7, slightly, it's a bit slower than the race leader Tomoki Nojiri, who we've sort of forgotten about in the other Team Mugen car. As well, that's not good for Yamamoto, who's running deep into the hairpin there, blocking his wheel up.
But Cassidy is losing almost a second to Fukuzumi, who was, up until a few moments ago, was the leading car who had pitted. Of course, that's going to be Sekiguchi now.
Now, does Cassidy... I don't think Cassidy needs to win the race to take the point, as long as he's ahead of Yamamoto.
He just needs 2 more points than Yamamoto at this stage.
But if he's second and Yamamoto's third, is that enough? I can't actually remember.
Yes, that would jump. If they finish P2, P3, Cassidy would jump Yamamoto by a point.
And it's mathematically still a possibility for England to get through the group stage. Sorry. In-joke. Ishiura's crew are already in the pit lane by the look of it.
So just to go back to something, Fukuzumi did get past Sekiguchi, pulled 3 seconds over Sekiguchi in that lap. That is the difference between Fukuzumi on those warm, slightly aging soft tyres to Sekiguchi on the slower but also colder medium tyres. Fukuzumi pulled something 5 seconds or so on that lap alone. So that is a big loss to take for Cassidy to take into account as well.
Now Sekiguchi's tyres are now up to temperature. He's setting the competitive first and second sectors now, so it's going to be interesting to see what the sector times for Naoki Yamamoto in the number 1 car are going to be. Now, keep an eye on this car number 37, championship contender Nick Cassidy is keeping going, but his lap times they're not that different actually. 43.5. Everybody's lap time seems to have just sort of faded through the race, which is quite interesting.
But it seems to have hit a kind of plateau. He's in the mid 1:43s.
That's Yuri Vips behind him, who's a lap down.
And Vips, of course, lost quite a bit of time.
Now this is the crucial thing on screen, though, Lee. Look, we don't really need to look at the lap times there. There is Naoki Yamamoto, and just ahead of him is Sekiguchi in the very multicoloured Impul car. And there's the fast flashing light of the overtaking system in use. Now, Yamamoto's going to have a think about doing it in the chicane. More than a think, he's going to do it. Easy. And that is what Cassidy fears. That gap was just evaporated. Now, there's 11 laps to go. You're watching the closing stages of the Super Formula season, 2019 Super Formula season.
Oh, and here it comes.
Yeah, there you go. Now, Yamamoto's got him up the inside into turn 1, but...
Don't do that! Wheel to wheel, almost.
That's a championship contender up the inside.
And it almost banged slightly.
Yeah, that was a little bit...
that was a Sheeran there.
Yes, that was Yamamoto reminding him that he's the master of this track, not Ishihara.
Ishihara had actually just pitted. Sekiguchi's up ahead, but that was still very, very, very feisty.
Yeah, but that is, as I say, that is a signal of what's to come between Yamamoto and Cassidy, the championship rivals now. Anyway, you are watching the finale of the 2019 Super Formula season here on Let's Go Racing, and it is the finale is the JAF Grand Prix. It is a shootout as Yamamoto goes very deep into the hairpin again.
That was a critical battle, actually, potentially for Cassidy. Cassidy is dropping into the late 1:43s, early 1:44s now.
Cassidy's
but Yamamoto in that fight with Ashura actually lost 2 seconds as well. So that is another little element that is playing out as this race draws so close.
Cassidy's lap times have gone. He's doing a 1:44.0. He's got to stop for those medium tyres. But we've seen just a graphic illustration of how much slower the medium tyres are than the soft tyres that Naoki Yamamoto is on. But what is the tyre life for Yamamoto?
Sekiguchi, by the way, on the medium tyres is now into the early 1:43, Sam. Yamamoto on the older soft tyres is also in the early to mid 1 minute 43s. This could still play out. Bear in mind, Yamamoto, etc., are all on soft tyres that are 25 plus laps old now.
Yeah, Cassidy's got to stop now though, because he's going to lose that balance, because he's losing time. I'm just waiting to see what his lap time is at the end of this one.
The gap from Cassidy to Yamamoto is 55 seconds. You're right, it needs to come soon. It needs to come very soon. If Cassidy is going to take this,
he's going to start losing too much time on the tyres he is on. He's very worn out, soft compound tyres.
And I think we're seeing some action in the pit lane.
Yeah, Nigeria's crew are coming, the Team Mugen crew are coming up. No sign of the Team Toms guys though this time.
Cassidy back in the 1 minute 43s there,
and back into the lead of the race for the first time actually today. Well, see these 43.8 last this lap was.
But Yamamoto's only doing 43.6s, so the gap at the moment is only 2 to 3/10 of a second per lap. As we see, that's Yuri Vips just behind the lap.
Because Vips is closing in on Cassidy. Don't worry about that. Now here is
this is Nohiri, who the former race leader.
Yeah, he's in from the lead.
Some acrobatics there.
It is. Fairly straightforward stop, bit of fuel, a lot of fuel actually.
That's a good stop. That's probably one of the cleanest stops we've seen so far today, Sam.
Nakayama in a Team Le Mans car, who we haven't really spoken about at all. In fact, we haven't spoken about in this race at all. He's the next guy to come down pit lane. There he is.
We mentioned him in actually the grid lineup as well.
Yuan Edo says, hope you guys can stream Super Formula and Super Formula Lights next year. We haven't even talked about Super Formula Lights.
We haven't at all, actually.
Yes, we will talk to JRP about Super Formula Lights. We hadn't even thought about it. You just said that. New series for next year. Yes, maybe. Super Formula, definitely. Super Formula Lights, we hadn't contemplated it.
Still a few months to think about it.
Yeah.
So you watch Nick Cassidy on screen now, 9 laps remaining.
Yeah, crucially, remember the medium tyre phase for Yamamoto was 7 laps.
The only 2 drivers still not to pit are, of course, Cassidy, and there's action in the Team Tom's pit lane. We may be about to see Cassidy come into the pits. Lucas Auer is the only other driver at the moment who's still not pitted, as well as Cassidy. But will Cassidy come in this time around? Kaz Nakajima has already stopped the course on a big lock up there from Cassidy as he absolutely drills the tyres coming through the chicane. Will Cassidy pull into the pits? He does. This is critical, Sam.
Yeah, keep an eye on this pit stop. You're watching the 2019 JAF Grand Prix here on Let's Go Racing. It's a title shootout at Suzuka for the Super Formula Championship. Nick Cassidy is going toe-to-toe with Naoki Yamamoto, and it's going to be pretty close as this pit stop ends. If all goes well, the Magic Jack worked. The Jumping Jackman also did his job.
Cassidy on the mediums. Sluggish getaway, but he didn't lose much. He didn't lose much.
That was the right thing to do. Now, Cassidy has given us tyre management masterclass. He's now on the medium tyres. Now, look at the top of your screen. Where will he come back out? There's Nigeri.
No, that's
Kazumi coming down the start-finish straight. Cassidy, and there he is. There's Yamamoto at the top of your screen.
That is Nohiri going by now. Lucas Auer currently leads the race. He was the Red Bull car we saw going off in the distance. He still has to make his stop, so don't worry about him. Fukusumi, 3rd place.
Key point, Cassidy is on stone cold tyres. No tyre warmers allowed in Super Formula. You're going to see Nirei Fukusumi, the teammate of Cassidy's title rival, coming up on the tail of him, that white Docomo Team Dandelion racing car. There it is. Honda Power, they're taking on Toyota as... taking on Toyota, and there's Fukusumi. Cassidy making his car very, very wide into the Degners, but keep an eye behind him for another white car with the number 1 on it. That's Naoki Yamamoto, the Toro Rosso, free practice driver a couple of weeks ago here at Suzuka.
Very critical, Sam, to note. Should Cassidy and Yamamoto finish equal on points, the title would go to Yamamoto by virtue of him having 2 second places. They've both won 1 race each. Yamamoto's had 2 second places. The best other finishes for Cassidy have been 2 third places this year.
Taker's going to hurt, isn't it, if that's the situation? If things finish with Cassidy 2nd and Yamamoto 3rd...
Cassidy would take the title. If it was Cassidy 3rd, Yamamoto 4th, Yamamoto would win the title.
Well, this is going to be very interesting. Now you can see Cassidy's overtaking system's gone to the red section. He's running out of extra boost. We have to keep an eye on the roll hoop, so he's keeping off Nire Fukuzumi, but look at the roll hoop of Fukuzumi. It's still green. He's still got boost. We haven't seen Naoki Yamamoto for a while. Yamamoto isn't far behind them, though, and he will still have boost. His lap times, let's have a look at Cassidy's first flying lap time.
Well, that would have been out lap.
That's the out lap.
But if you look at it, Sam, Cassidy still has such a huge gap. He's got 12 seconds over Naoki Yamamoto. Unfortunately, I don't think this has worked for Dandelion Racing because you still have Sekiguchi in between Yamamoto and Fukuzumi. And Yamamoto lost so much time in his battle with Pelu that time that it's actually put another car in between them.
And quite a way in between them, actually. What Fukuzumi's job now is, there he is in the white car, his job is to get in front of Cassidy and slow him down.
Our leading race is still not stopped. He will drop out of the points when he does eventually stop. Now here he's second place, 4.6 seconds behind the leader. He will become the de facto leader, which will put Cassidy, who's third, into second, Fukuzumi, who's fourth, into third. Yamamoto would then go to fifth place.
10-18 Bobster says, what a final race. Yes.
Bear in mind, Yamamoto started the season, he had 2 second places. He actually finished just behind Cassidy at Suzuka in the first race. He had a second place at the top of the list before a brilliant start to finish win at Suzuka, but then had 2 non-finishes, 11th at Fuji, 9th at Motegi, but then only took 2 points last time out at Okayama. It's definitely been a season of 2 halves for Naoki Yamamoto.
I think Cassidy might have this,
7 laps left. 7 laps left, Sam. We shall see. One driver definitely out of the running at the moment, unfortunately, is Alex Palou, currently running last. Unfortunately, that strategy just fell away from them. As you see, Lucas Auer finally take to the pits.
Well, you are watching quite the Super Formula finale. It's the JAF Grand Prix here on Let's Go Racing with Talk Esports. Keep an eye on what's going on track, though. It's Nick Cassidy taking on Naoki Yamamoto. It's Honda versus Toyota here at Suzuka.
And that stop for Lucas Auer. It's quite unfortunate for Lucas, actually. He started third earlier on today, but the strategy hasn't worked out for him at all. He didn't have enough pace in that first stint. He also had an awful start, and that's pretty much going to drop him down to 14th, 15th position. So not the best end of the season for Lucas Auer, but he's shown a lot of pace and proven, I think, to be a very good benchmark for the Red Bull Junior team.
Somebody who is proven to be a very good benchmark right now, and you can see it on your screen, is Nick Cassidy. On the medium tyre, the less good tyre, he is opening up the gap to Nire Fukuzumi, who's on the soft. That's remarkable. He is doing a 42.4. He's moved up to second position because of that pit stop cycle, Lucas Auer stopping, and he is in the hunt. He's driving into a championship win here, his first ever Super Formula title.
Bear in mind, Sam, Fukuzumi is now on nearly 30-lap-year-old soft tyres. I think he's in the stage, he's almost in the lap time saving stage.
Yeah, but Cassidy's medium tyre lap times aren't far off the best soft tyre lap times. There are quite a lot of the field.
The driver just behind Fukuzumi there is Yuki Sekiguchi. He's currently running in fourth position now.
Crucially, Naoki Yamamoto's lap times are slower than those of Nick Cassidy. Cassidy is driving away from Naoki Yamamoto.
I think Yamamoto's tyres have probably hit that wall, Sam.
I think you're probably right.
And what we're probably going to see in these last 10 laps is a series of laps where you have drivers who, on the soft tyres, who changed around lap 8, lap 9. We're probably losing time because the tyres are hitting that stage or they're beginning to drop off. But you're also going to have some medium compound drivers who are not able to quite hit the heights of the soft tyres because the medium tyres will not allow that. So we're entering a bit of a status quo situation at the moment. Just another update. Of course, Honda and Toyota engines in Super Formula. It is pretty even now. For qualifying, it was only one Toyota in the top 8. It's actually now 4-4 in the top 8, with Nohiri leading in the Honda just ahead of the Toyota of Cassidy, ahead of the Honda of Fukuzumi. And as you see on screen, the live standings, Cassidy would lead, or would finish 3 points ahead of Yamamoto should it stay like this.
Well, I know there's going to be some happy people in New Zealand watching this.
And this would be sweet revenge, I think, to a degree for Yamamoto, for Cassidy, sorry, who lost both Super Formula and Super GT titles to Yamamoto last season, and the narrowest of margins on both occasions lost them in the final race of the season.
And that's exactly right. Well, Cassidy getting a little bit sideways on the exit of 130R there. He's still some distance to go. 5 laps to go here at Suzuka circuits. Watching Let's Go Racing. If you're enjoying this, don't forget to hit like and subscribe. Join and help support the channel. We've got an awful lot to announce in the coming weeks and months. There's going to be some great stuff on this channel in 2020. And not just the world's fastest gamer final.
We're looking at Nick Cassidy. He's got 1.5 seconds ahead of Nirei Fukuzumi, who's in 3rd place. Cassidy 3.5 seconds behind race leader Tomoki Nohiri. As you said, we haven't really seen much of Nohiri in this race at all. I think he's done a very, very good race, as we see on screen. I think that's a battle between... That is Kobayashi. That's Kobayashi.
We've sort of forgotten about him.
For 10th place.
He might get a point, but it's not going to make a difference to the championship.
Bear in mind, this is a guy who started on wet tyres.
I still don't know what that was about.
Actually, no, Kobayashi still has to make his mandatory stop.
We think. The rules don't really cover it, do they? They don't say if you're really silly, you cannot bother with the medium and start on a soft, start on a wet.
But is that merely a situation where it has to be declared as an actual wet race, though?
I don't know, because I don't think the rule exists for this. So I think they're probably leaking through the rule book in race control and going, we've never sort of really contemplated this because it's a bit silly.
Well, either way, Kobayashi is doing a solid job on what are 38-lap-year-old 38-lap-old tyres. 10th place at the moment. He was an outside championship contender, and that really went away almost immediately at the start. Well, before the start, when he was left on wet tyres on what is a very, very, very perfectly dry race. And also a little nod, something we mentioned in our build-up as well. See Yamamoto 5th place at the moment. Solid times, only early 1 minute 43s, but it's not enough.
Yeah, but crucially, our points leader there, Naoki Yamamoto's lap times are slower than the runner-up, or the 2nd place man in the championship moment. Nick Cassidy is setting faster lap times than Naoki Yamamoto. He's opening up that gap. He's on the medium tyre. He's 3.4 seconds off race leader Nojiri. Nojiri is slightly slower than Cassidy, but I don't think Cassidy's going to threaten the race leader. 3 laps to go.
And I also wonder if the realisation of the situation is probably sinking in somewhat to Yamamoto as well. He's 5th place, 3 positions behind Cassidy. He will know this, that he'll be told over the team radio, and it's just not coming together for the championship leader.
Well, this is fascinating finale.
See Sukagoshi there.
It is. It's a very decent race. Real Racing's best race this year, I think.
7th place. He's not scored any points so far this year, so he'll be hoping very much to keep this 7th position, just ahead of Hirakawa and Kenta Yamashita.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to hold off these two, though.
He's only got 3 laps to do it. But yes, good job by Sukagoshi this year. Real Racing, of course, started with Tristan Carpentier for that one race in Suzuka at the beginning of the season, which ended in Carpentier underneath the barriers at 130R. Sukagoshi came back into the championship for the next round and has actually done, I think, a fairly solid job. Actually, Super Formula runner-up in 2012. The first year of what was technically Super Formula. Technically.
See, that's when the championship changed from Formula Nippon to...
Yeah, that was the first year we went from Formula Nippon to Super Formula.
So that was Japanese F3000?
No, it was before. That was 95. Yeah. That's another long story. As you see, Naoki Yamamoto, the 2018 Super Formula champion. It's looking unlikely he will repeat that feat at this point. He's 5th in this race, but he's 15 seconds behind Cassidy. And I think the realization of the situation has probably set into Yamamoto now. He's driven a good year. It fell away in the second half of the season, whereas Cassidy has only won once so far this season, but he's kept on totting up those points. The only non-score for him was, of course, the last time out in Okayama, where he had that spin chasing down Kamui Kobayashi. But other than that, Cassidy has been very much a driver, notching up some podiums, 4th, 5th places and whatnot.
Naoki Yamamoto working his way around the track. He's going to be disappointed at the end of the day, I think.
Yeah. As you see Cassidy on screen now.
He's not going to be disappointed.
He was. I spoke to him at Hockenheim a few weeks ago, and he was very cautious about the race. He was very cautious about his prospects. You know, not unreasonable considering what happened last year. But he'll be absolutely delighted with his performance in this race this season.
To go for the Toyota-powered Dallara SF19, run by Vantolin Team Toms, based at Gotemba, just near Fuji Speedway.
Said he's made mistakes so far this year. The team have made mistakes. They're still struggling quite a bit on qualifying, but the way they've worked the tyres an awful lot this year has actually been quite impressive. And
let me just have a look at those lap times there, Lee. I mean, he's losing a bit of pace now, 1:43.1. The mediums aren't as good as the softs. Doesn't really matter, anybody with championship points. Yamamoto is a long way back now. The red on the roll hoop showing that not much boost left for Cassidy, but he's still got some left. Should be interesting. Little bit of snippet about Alex Palou. He on his pole lap, should have said this earlier in the show really, but on his pole lap, he used Kimi Räikkönen's onboard camera footage to try and learn the line. And the engineers were a bit confused because a Super Formula car doesn't drive like a Formula 1 car, they thought. Seemed to work out quite well for Palou though.
Unfortunately, it's not worked out for him in this race. He's currently running at the back of the pack. No retirements, by the way, today.
That's unusual.
It's actually been, apart from the little bump between Nakajima and Harrison Newey, it's actually been relatively clean.
And Harrison Newey hasn't caught fire yet.
Newey is running 17th at the moment as we watch the what we believe the champion to be, Nick Cassidy, coming round.
Well, it's the final lap of the 2019 JAF Grand Prix here at Suzuka Circuit. To hit like and subscribe, makes about 30. The race is led by the Team Mugen car of Nojiri, Nick Cassidy. Second position, Nirei Fukuzumi in third, Yuhi Sakaguchi is fourth, and Naoki Yamamoto is in fifth position. But the battle people are watching now is this man. The camera is on at car 37. All Cassidy has to do is finish this lap where he's running, and he'll become the 2019 Super Formula champion.
I think we're going to have three very happy drivers on the grid. Nahiri, of course, has not won since Sugo 2014. Cassidy looking to become second and become the Super Formula champion. And Fukuzumi, currently third, would actually be his first podium in Super Formula.
Well, good knowledge. I don't think he'll be that happy, though. It's going to be mixed feelings for Fukuzumi because his teammate will have just lost out the championship. And Toyota will have just clinched the Super Formula championship on Honda's home ground. Still, few corners to go now for Cassidy. Algeria is 3 or 4 seconds just up the road in front of him. What it feels like in the cockpit of that Dallara SF19 Toyota.
It was a keen strategy by Yamamoto to pit at the first opportunity on lap 8, but it really hasn't. It didn't work out for him in the end. It didn't work out for a lot of drivers in that part of the field who found themselves in and around still where they were. As we see Nohiri coming through the final corners, through the chicane to win his first Super Formula race in 5 years.
There you go, yeah. Tomoki Nojiri for Team Mugen wins the 2019 JAF Grand Prix, but second position last season. Revenge for the New Zealander. Nick Cassidy is the 2019 Super Formula champion, and he is absolutely in pieces as he crosses the line. He can barely raise his hand, look. He can't believe it.
Absolutely delighted as we have Naoki Yamamoto come across the line to take 5th place. Well, fantastic drive from Cassidy. Fantastic drive from Nojiri, by the way.
Fantastic season from Nick Cassidy, actually. He's really sent a message around the world that this is a driver that has a future, not just in Japanese racing. This guy needs to be at the next step up, and there is only one level above Super Formula. That's Formula 1.
Cassidy, of course, became a Red Bull athlete as well this year. He was part of the Red Bull Junior program several years ago for a short while. Then again, and so have most drivers. But he's a Red Bull athlete at the moment, alongside a lot of their athletes, other athletes that what they do.
You're going to have to stop saying, oh, and there you go, as if I said Harrison Newey is broken down. As I predicted, and you're no longer going to be able to say New Zealand Grand Prix winner Nick Cassidy.
Well, I still will. 3-time New Zealand Grand Prix.
You'll have to say reigning Super Formula champion Nick Cassidy. He's won Super GT, he's won Super Formula, he's got more Super License points than a Super License point shop. At some point, someone's got to give him a run out in a Grand Prix car. I'm looking forward. Stay with us here on Let's Go Racing. We'll bring you the post-race podium. A very, very happy Nick Cassidy. I wonder if he'll work out how to do the champagne bottle.
He's gotten better at it.
He's got a lot better. I wonder if he's going to... This is an important one for him. He's going to get a bunch of flowers from Mr. Toyota, as he did when he won the Super GT Championship a couple of seasons ago. And I wonder if he's going to be on the Shinkansen back to Shinagawa, where he lives tonight, or if he's just going to party in Scirocco or up in the S Plaza at Suzuka Circuit tonight. I suspect it's going to be the latter. I don't think he really wants to bother going home tonight. He's going to have a good time.
And Andrew F mentions in the chat, I don't recall Cassidy ever being part of the Red Bull Junior Driver Program. It's actually quite a few years ago, so 2013, 2014, with he was at Euro International and Carlin in Formula 3. But he's shown himself to be a prime talent. And one of those drivers, as you mentioned, who really should be on the radar of teams in the top of single-seater racing.
Yeah, and he really is. Look at this. He's enjoying every minute of this, isn't he? Well, we'll be hearing from Nick when he finally gets back from the end of this lap and gets out of the car and talks to it'll be Chio, I think, down in pit lane. So, Kumi Kobayashi's got bored and wandered off as well. Run out of fuel or just
do you know what? I wonder if maybe that was the case with Harrison Newey as well, if they were running it really tight.
Yeah, it could be.
I mean, one thing you are actually quite right about, I believe, check, but Kobayashi didn't pit.
That's probably why he ran out of fuel then, isn't it? Sarah says, big ups to Let's Go Racing for streaming this season and all you race fans for coming and watching the channel. Yes,
that's
big ups to you, Sarah, for joining us.
That's Makinos parked as well.
They're running out of fuel, aren't they? Interesting.
That's interesting. That is actually quite interesting. So was the fuel consumption higher than they originally anticipated?
Must have been. Well, they all got to the end, I think. Check the sliming screen.
I think Newey was the only one who didn't cross the line.
Well, we did say that was going to happen. Yeah, but no, Palou didn't cross. Oh, no, he was miles down anyway. So Sky Higa points out, get those likes in. Likes and subscriptions are what keep us going here on Super Formula as we look at a Hino truck recovering Harrison Newey's Dallara SF19. The reason we're looking at these drivers with their stranded out-of-fuel cars is that Nick Cassidy's taken forever to get back to the start-finish strike. But stay with us, we will be hearing from Nick Cassidy as the rest of the field come back to the start-finish line here at Suzuka. Is Cassidy at the back of the queue yet? No, I'm not sure he is.
Something we mentioned last night when we were doing our debrief, Sam. New Zealand, for what is a very, very small country, has quite a balance of successful drivers in motorsport. Because Danny Hume, the 1967 Formula 1 world champion, and Scott Dixon, of course, in IndyCar at the moment, 5-time champion. So, and a lot of race winners over the years. So there's a
Brendan Hartley.
Brendan Hartley
he's
as
done
well.
quite well.
WEC.
Le Mans winner.
He was a champion.
Yeah, he's on the championship and Le Mans. And that was the all New Zealand car, wasn't it? So yeah, two Kiwis and a German in that car, in the Porsche 21.
Oh, okay. Oh. As we see, people see me getting out of the car there in the number 16, the race winner.
Yes, Danny.com says, thanks for complete coverage for the whole season at Let's Go Racing. We shall meet again in 2020. But don't give up on us yet, Danny.com. There's more to come. We are going to be screening the full Super Formula Championship next year, along with some other championships to be announced. But we've got the world's fastest gamer final coming up. We're going to see a lot more championships on this channel, and there's going to be some news. We have a new show that's going to be launching. So So stay tuned for news for that.
Honest.
And it's about motorsport. It's a very honest show. But there he is. That is Nick Cassidy, the 2019, well, the caption's correct this time, 2019 Drivers' Championship champion. Super Formula champion. Second place in the Jaff Grand Prix. The jury is going to be slightly overlooked, even though he's just won the Jaff Grand Prix.
And Cassidy getting congratulations there from his teammate Kaz Nakajima.
Let's see if Yamamoto is a class act. Let's see if he comes and shakes Cassidy's hand. Title rivals in both championships more than once. It was interesting to see Heikki Kovalainen on the starting grid came and gave good luck to Nick Cassidy. Both racing GT500 cars in Super GT.
And Cassidy is going for that title as well in a few weeks' time.
He is indeed. So just stay with us as the drivers meander their way to the Suzuka podium. Next to the press room here. They have to go through the pits, up some stairs, through a tunnel, round a corner, and then they get onto the podium. But there's Cassidy just saying thank you and hugging his team. He still hasn't got his helmet off. He's had so many people say well done to. There you go. Yeah, you can be put in your place now. Go. Well done, SLO.
Bruce McLaren, of course, the famous Kiwi racing driver. One of the few who's won Grand Prix in a car of his own make. And, of course, another Grand Prix winner from New Zealand, Chris Amon.
Yes, of course. Now, see, you missed him out, so Webber's going to be on your case now in the chat.
As you see, very delighted Nick Cassidy.
He's still not his champagne yet, though. Championship champagne is under pressure. Multi-flag technique coming up as well. Do stay with us for the podium. We are going to get an interview from Nick imminently when he's stopped looking incredibly happy. Here is Chio for that interview.
はい、放送席。はい、今シーズン2019スーパーフォーミュラーシリーズチャンピオンのニック・キャシディ選手のところに出ます。So Nick, congratulations for the champion 2019. You are the first Kiwi champion in Super Formula.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.
There's Naoki Yamamoto congratulating Nick Cassidy. That's nice to see, isn't it?
Yeah, man. It's going, huh?
That was so tough race. So
cool.
Congratulations again.
Yeah, it looks so tough. Yeah, I don't know what to say. My team are amazing. I've won every championship now with Toms in Japan, and that doesn't say everything about me. That says everything about them. They are a great group of people. They are like my family, and I'm just happy to be the guy that can repay them for that.
Well, look how emotional Cassidy is. He's on the verge of tears, and it's understandable.
Just as Nick Cassidy said, he's won every time with Toms. That, of course, also includes winning a Japanese title in 2015.
This is why he's got a whole boatload of super license points as well.
歩んできたので、彼らは本当に素晴らしいチームだし、僕は彼らに対してこのチャンピオンとして
translation of what Cassidy said is rather longer than what Cassidy said, so I'm not quite sure what the translation is.
So finally, we know how much difficult this Super Formula season is, so you know as well. So please describe about 2009 season of you.
Look, it's so difficult. Emotionally, it's very up and down because there are so many great drivers in this championship that it's hard to be the top all the time. But it's about the days that you're not at the top to make the most. And I think we did that well this year. When we were not fast, we got a good result. And when we were fast, we could make the result too. So again, thank you to Toyota, Gazoo Racing, Toms, and my family.
Nick gets great support from his family. Last time I actually spoke to Nick face to face was late at night in a garden at the back of the hotel at Suzuka Circuit, and we've both vertically sneaking back from a 7-Eleven with dinners in our bags because it's cheaper than the hotel restaurant. And I got to chatting to Nick's dad, and real enthusiasm and support from his family. And I'm sure his dad, well, I haven't seen his dad there at the moment, so I'm not sure if his dad's listening to us on Let's Go Racing. If he is, he's probably not in a fit state
はい、こちらから以上です。
to get involved in the chat. But I'd be surprised if his dad wasn't there. Well, there is the race results.
As Montecinos here, he wins the race ahead of
Nick Cassidy, reigning champion, new champion, and Nire Fukuzumi in third position. Yuhi Sakaguchi was fourth. Naoki Yamamoto must be disappointed with fifth position. Hirokai Ishihara in sixth. Kudai Tsukahoshi in the Real Racing car. Really good. 2 points for that Real Racing team. Ryo Hirakawa was eighth. Kenta Yamashita ninth. And Sho Tsuboi in 10th. 45 seconds down. 11th was Lucas Auer. We both tipped him to win. We just one extra one on the result. Kamui Kobayashi started on wets. Bizarrely finished 12th. 13th was Makino. 14th was Kazuki Nakajima, his teammate, obviously the champion. 15th was Yuji Kunimoto. 16th was Yuichi Nakayama. Kazuya Oshima was 17th. On his debut, Yuri Vips got to be disappointed with 18th after stalling his car. Alex Blue 19th, and Harrison Yui ran out of fuel, failed to finish the race. There is Naoki Yamamoto. Yeah, he's just inconsolable there. He's just in tears. His team are trying to put a brave face on it, but they lost.
Earl Bamber's also a successful racing driver.
Yeah, I was waiting for you to get that one. I led you into it, and you still didn't do it.
I forgot.
Right, Webber, get on his case. Right, if you're still in the chat, get on Leo Gorman's case.
And of course, one of the few recent drivers to win the Petit Le Mans in a GT car.
There you go. You saved yourself. Well, Tachi-san, congratulating Nick Cassidy. Tachi is obviously one of the owners. He's the T in Tom's. There is nobody called Tom. Tachi Oiwa Motorsport.
I just always wanted there to be someone called Tom who
I
decided to have
yeah.
a team. Ooh, mascot.
Yeah, it's the Gazoo Racing Teddy Bear, of course. Didn't you know? That's the big digger in the back. And there you go. That's all you need to see. The number one Team Tom's Vantolin Team Tom's driver of New Zealand, Nick Cassidy, the 2019 Super Formula champion. He'll be treasuring this one.
Cassidy has just driven so well this year.
He has, and the way he drove on the tyres in this race was the real important thing. We're going to hear a bit more. I expect we're probably going to hear a bit more. But here's some highlights for you, because they're still trying to work out where the podium is.
So Palou got a decent start. Cassidy actually had a bit of a slow start getting away. As you see, Lucas Auer was left, right, and back.
Well, did he make that such a slow start? Because Auer balked him. There's Cassidy making a crucial overtaking manoeuvre on Nick Cassidy on Yamamoto. That's going to be sweet. Yamamoto came in for his stop. It was routine, but maybe a little bit too early. Should Yamamoto have stopped later?
I'm not entirely. I think that the race championship swung on that overtake when Cassidy got past Yamamoto. I think that's potential look back and find that's what decided it. As you see, this was Fukuzumi gaining round, then race leader Alex Palou, whose pace faded very much later on. Yamamoto also getting past. Actually needed 2 goes to get past Alex Palou, and the first time round Palou was held his line as Yamamoto went off track. Alex Palou started to lose positions. He ran out of tyres very quickly and dropped out of contention. And then the tyre stops started to come. Yamamoto, I still think he did a good job, but just couldn't quite match the tyre management of this man, who kept those soft tyres going so long and set decent lap times right up till the end of life, got on the mediums and saw off Nire Fukuzumi, who came extremely close to getting past Cassidy and then didn't quite do it. And there, Nick Cassidy took the title as the jury took the win of the Draft Grand Prix. What was crucial there, Sam, of course, was, as you see Cassidy celebrating, was Cassidy came out, did his pit stop, and such was the gap at that stage, such as how much Yamamoto had actually lost out. The gap was 12 seconds when Cassidy came out ahead of Yamamoto. So crucially, Cassidy getting past Yamamoto won it, but also not Yamamoto getting caught behind Alex Palou lost him the championship. Well, Sonia is down there on the start-finish line with a microphone, so we are going to hear more from Nick Cassidy. But they've got to go up to the podium at some point. We are going to do the podium ceremony. If you've never watched Super Formula before, why not? Don't forget to hit like and subscribe and follow us on Let's Go Racing.
The podium ceremonies in Japanese racing are, shall we say, different. Oh, Nick Cassidy now needs to take a selfie or get on his... He's phoning you, Lee. Your phone's going to go in a minute. He hasn't got my number, so Sonia's just waiting for him to... is he taking a selfie or is he doing one of his vlogs?
I think he's doing
He's doing his vlog. He is doing his vlog. Oh, no, he's not. He's doing his vlog. You can follow Nick Cassidy on another... Oh, they've got an extra podium.
They built it.
That
looks like it's Roman kind of.
It's a very Roman looking podium. Especially it's a podium on wheels. Never seen that before. Okay. So here's our race winner, the winner of the 2019 JAF Grand Prix, Tomoki Nojiri for Team Mugen, the Honda-powered, Moehle-sponsored Dallara SF19. 2 flags in use and 1 cap. Says first on it. Yokohama obviously flight. So we didn't really speak about Yokohama. It's like all the tyres here in Super Formula. In second position, bounding along and finishing his vlog rather urgently, is Nick Cassidy, the new 2019 Super Formula champion. And in
third place, Fukuzumi, his first
is
Super...
he there? Where is he? There he is.
His first Super Formula podium.
Yes. So as I say, it's mixed feelings for him. His teammate is in tears because he didn't win. And are we going to get a national anthem or are we just going to get flags and presentations? Oh, there's... didn't know he was the team boss of that team.
Seen that just in the camera in a long time.
まずはじめに優勝選手、優勝を行いまして、日本国歌の演奏となります。恐れ入ります皆様、どうぞご起立ご脱帽のご協力よろしくお願いします。それでは日本国歌の演奏です。
Here we go for the Japanese national anthem.
Delighted, Nojiri there. His first Super Formula win in 5 years.
Do we get to hear a New Zealand national anthem as well for Cassidy? I'm not sure. I mean, no, we don't. Well, at least it's great to see New Zealand having something to celebrate in this 24-hour period. That is a nice trophy.
That's a proper trophy.
That is a proper winner's trophy.
That's an actual trophy.
Now, I wonder, do they get the little deer with the bell trophy? Because I love that trophy. Suzuka has this very special trophy where you get a little model of a deer with a bell around its neck, because the word Suzuka in Japanese means bell deer. It doesn't actually mean anything, it's just what the word means, bell deer. And it's a really ancient name in Japan. So the Suzuka Mountains, which you see in the background if you're at the track, they are very, very old piece of Japan. And so they play on the name. There it is, there is the Bell Deer Trophy. And there you see, it's a deer with a bell around its neck. Oh. And that is a very, very famous trophy. And much to my annoyance, Rob Barth has one.
Hello, Rob.
And they come in gold, silver and bronze colours. That's the gold one.
As Cassidy's just got his silver one.
Yeah, it's gonna treasure that. And just hang around with us and till the end of this. And we should loiter in the chat until it breaks.
We'll take some questions if you have them.
I have some.
You've got questions?
Yeah. So here's an important looking man and some important looking girls.
Will we see it? Will we see a championship podium?
I wonder. I don't know. That winner's trophy seems to be emitting sunlight. Quite spectacularly, in fact. It seems to leveled up. Speaking of leveling up, will Cassidy get to qualify? Here's the bit Cassidy's really worried about, though.
I think technically Cassidy qualified quite a long time ago, really.
He did, yeah, but he's now won everything there is to win. So the Sparkling Sake will come along when Nolgiri stops wearing his very nice trophy as a hat. Talking of trophies, thoughts on the Castellet Gorilla?
I remember that. I'd forgotten about that completely.
Look, if you win the French Grand Prix, you get a gorilla.
That is a great trophy. That is a wonderful trophy for the JAF Grand Prix.
There's Pierre Kitagawa coming up to do some more interviews before they get the Sparkling Sake. The sake is waiting, and the girls are waiting with the sake. So I guess Pierre's going to speak to Nolgiri first, and then Cassidy. Yes. Thank you, says Nolgiri. Good to remember you all know that I won this race. It's very nice to see you all here. It's great for Honda and Mugen. He did make Alex Blue did make a good start. And now Pierre's having a conversation with him.
フロントロー2ウィンですね。はい、どうもすみません。はい、お願いします。
スタートで抜くべきだったんですけど、それを抜けなかったので、どうしようかなと思ってたんですけど、その後クリアになってもうフルプッシュして、なんとか逆を切って、後半のウィリアムもね、いいペースで走れたし、もう本当にここまでチームにたくさんの失敗もしたし、その中で自分自身苦しい思いももちろんしましたけど、その中でもみんなで支えてもらって、こうやってここに連れてきてもらったこと、本当に感謝しています。そして本当に応援していただいた皆様、
Can't underestimate actually how well Nolgiri drove today.
He couldn't have made that. Basically, yeah, we're overlooking him, but we're making a joke of it. But he did really put a step wrong all day and won a big race.
And to be fair, probably was less challenged from Cassidy than he may have been in any other race. But at the same time, he did the job. He went in, got the tyre strategy absolutely right, got his times absolutely on the button. His challenge of Pelu early in the race was critical. He did everything right. He did everything absolutely on the button.
Montecinos has a very big watch.
It is, of course, Nolgiri's fourth points finish so far this year. He's had 2 fourths and an 8th already, so a win really tops that off.
For those of you who are aged lower than us, well-known Formula 1 driver
for Minardi.
And yes, with the Mugen engine.
In 97. Teammate to Olivia Panis.
96.
No, 97. Panis' teammate 96 was Pedro Diniz.
There you go. Are you sure? Because it had the Mugen engines in 96 when they won the Monaco Grand Prix.
Yeah, Diniz was the teammate.
There you go.
Diniz in the oven.
Yes, that was one of the best headlines of that season. The car flipped upside down. Ah, they've opened the bottles for Nick Cassidy. So that's
he's enjoyed it. He's enjoyed it.
He's saying that's perfect. And he went first. He went early. Oh, Nick,
he's actually got the spray. He's got the spray right.
He's got the spray right, but he just went a bit too soon. And Nolgiri wasn't ready for it, and he's run away.
I think he's probably spraying the crowd, really.
Yeah, he's not remember. Be a long way to come.
I think he may have sprayed.
No, he's gone off. He's gone to spray the ladies. Yeah. It's frowned upon that. He's run away from the podium. Well, we started off. He's back.
Now, we've had a fantastic 2019 season. We see our champion Nick Cassidy on the screen. We will return for Super Formula 2020, starting at Suzuka on the weekend of April 20th to 21st.
No, we won't. That's this year.
That's this year.
We started the season at Suzuka Circuit, then went on to Autopolis. Sportsland Sugo came after that, then Fuji Speedway. Twin Ring Motegi, the 5th round. Okayama international circuit with the 6th and this round. You've just watched the Jaffa Grand Prix at Suzuka. Rounded out the season, Leo Gorman.
Season, of course, next year starts on the 5th of April in Suzuka, then Fuji a couple of weeks later. Then in May, we're in Autopolis before Suzuka in June. There's a 2-month gap as the Olympics run in Japan in the middle of summer. Then we're in Motegi for the end of August, in Okayama at the end of September, and then this race at Suzuka again for the 2020 finale on the 1st of November.
Now, we're just staying with this because we might be about to get another interview with Nick Cassidy, but I'm not quite sure. We got a long interview with Nigeria. I thought we were going to get Pierre and Nick Cassidy, but the fans are waiting for something, so should you. Yes, we are. We're just about to get another Nick Cassidy interview. Or not. They introduced him. Hero music. Oh, it might be a championship podium then. If you can't tell, they don't actually give us the schedule for the podium. But there's a guy in a Toro Rosso shirt there. I'll distract everybody with that.
I do like the fact that some championships do the championship podiums. This will suck for
I think it's really, it will suck for Yamamoto, but I think it's a really good thing. Formula One has got better at it by giving the winner's trophy out and congratulate the champion on after the race now. And K20C4 Sam, great name by the way, loves Japanese racing. So here's Alex Palou.
Third in the championship, had his race really fell apart with the tire strategy, unfortunately. Qualified in pole, he's had a very, very, very good season. He's shown some great pace, and he really is a driver for the future. He's only 22, Sam, so he's got a long career ahead of him.
Alex Palou, he might not look too happy because he didn't win the title today, but he really should be happy because this has been a breakout season. That is Kurishita-san, the boss of Super Formula, handing out the 3rd place trophy.
A lot of people are going to be looking very seriously at Alex Palou, who are not just next year or the year after, but just for a long way in the future.
He's got F1 team interests. There are rumours of a new Formula One team being started in 2021, not 2022. And Alex Palou will be one of the drivers. Sonia is up on the podium, so we're going to hear. This is going to be quite a long podium ceremony. We're going to hear from Alex Palou, 3rd place finisher.
Thank you. Arigatou gozaimasu. Thank you. Not really good now. Obviously, we wanted to win today. We had the pace to win today. I don't really know what happened. We had really good start, really good first run with medium tires. And as soon as I put soft tires, we didn't have the pace. We lost like 2 or 3 seconds. So yeah, it's a shame that we finished like this, such a good year. I had a lot of fun with you guys. And the car was just amazing. Only today we had some problems, but we're going to fix it. And yeah, I'm happy that we finished 3rd in the championship, first rookie. It was an amazing year, and thank you all for your support. Amazing.
はい、本当にありがとうございます。
Sonia
まずはですね、気持ち的にはね、ちょっと複雑な気持ちですね。本当にレースはね、非常にペースが良かったのに、メディアムでね、入った時は、しかしソフトに入った時はペースを失ってしまい、それ理由もわからないので、本当にね、なんかこう、がっかりしている部分でもありますけれども、シーズンを振り返っても本当にいいシーズンだったというふうに思っておりますので、本当にね、なんで今日だけ、今日に限りこうなっちゃうのって思うところもありましたが、ただルーキーオブザイヤーということで、本当にベストを尽くして頑張りましたし、そしてチャンピオンシップは3位に獲得することができましたので、
He really was, and he has been,
for whatever reason, on the soft tires, it just did not work.
I'm very interested to see what his next season is going to be. It's not been announced where he's going to be driving next year. Will he stay in Super Formula and go for the title? I suspect he might.
Bear in mind, it has to be also be noted the other Nakajima racing driver, Tadasuke Makino, only finished 13th as well, so just not a good day for
Makino, when he was one of these drivers that burst onto the scene with an unexpected GT500 drive in Thailand, I think it was, and was quicker than his far more experienced teammate in Super GT. And a lot of the Japanese media were tipping him as a great talent for the future. He's really not performed as well as we might have expected this season.
I do remember, because I covered Makino when he was racing in Formula 3 for a while, a couple of years ago. He showed spots of pace here and there, but didn't really seem to be able to string together an entire season, really. But
Well, here's a guy who's going to have to... Difficult moment for a guy here. It's the Dandelion Racing.
This is always the toughest moment for a driver coming in second.
No, it's just... Did Dandelion Racing, and I think... No, it's just... Yeah, Dandelion Racing did win the team's championship. That's what I was thinking of. So they do have something to celebrate. So the Honda team with Naoki Yamamoto, Nire Fukuzumi, Docomo Team Dandelion Racing, 50 points, just 2 points ahead of Team Toms. Nakajima could have got a bit further. Toms would have taken the title.
And that is a great issue, unfortunately, I think, for Suzuki Nakajima's results this year. Very much a case of Nick Cassidy pulling a lot of those results together for the team.
There you go. Don't really talk very much about the team championship, do we? I mean, KCMG weren't going to win it, but... So the Honda Howard Dallara SF19s with Naoki Yamamoto, Nire Fukuzumi. A semi-works team, I think it's fair to say about that team, that driver lineup. And Honda backing them to... Look at that's a massive trophy. Good Lord. That's a whopper, isn't it? I mean, that is... Not only is it all base, all trophy, it's just huge. That's a big one. They'll have to buy a green cast ticket for that on the Shinkansen back to wherever it is that Docomo Team Dandelion are based. I'm not actually sure where that is. I mean, it could be that there is a Suzuka and just carry it up the hill. That's going to be pretty heavy. It's quite a hill up through mobility. It's quite steep. You've got
now all they have to do is do a photo shoot taking them up the Ferris wheel.
The Ferris wheel is very, very high. Really? I went up there with RJ O'Connell during the Suzuka 10 hours qualifying session, and it was a little romantic trip for us onto the Ferris wheel. And I have to say, I didn't realise it was quite as high up, because it's on a little crest of a hill as well, and the track stops down at that point, and it's huge. Oh, look at poor Naoki Yamamoto. He's pulled the cap down over his face because he's just absolutely into it. He wanted this. And all the magazines were tipping him to win as well. The Suzuka Meister, they call him.
But he's had a very good year as well. You know, as mentioned during the race, he had an FP1 session in F1 at Suzuka a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, he did pretty well.
And not had the easiest seasons in the Super GT, but you know, he showed some great pace here. Won at Suga earlier on this year and had a couple of podiums. But as I said, it's just that second half of the season, it just fell away from him.
Yeah, it's awkward for him, and he knows he made errors, and that's what really cost him as well. Well, they've left the trophy behind. That's not great for them. Did they not want it then? Right. Still some more trophies to come. We'll stick with this. We should get some more interviews. I don't know what's the next trophy going to be.
As I know, Alex Pelu's still there, so I can't remember if he gets a best rookie.
Well, no, I think maybe that's what he had already. I think he got the Rookie of the Year one.
Oh, okay.
So maybe you get the top 3 drivers as well. I'm not sure. Oh, more hero music. Sonia's back. So what's this going to be a trophy for? As I say, we don't make any secret that we don't get a running order of this. I can see Russ, our man there, he's chatting to Sonia. And, hey, yeah.
それでは2019シーズン見事ドライバーズチャンピオンを獲得した選手ご紹介させていただきましょう。皆さん大きな拍手でお迎えください。2019
I think this is the Drivers' Championship trophy.
It's a big one.
It's the biggest trophy they've got.
That's almost bigger than Nick Cassidy.
There he is. It's Nick Cassidy. Smells of sparkling sake because he's covered in it at the moment. It's going to be getting a bit soggy and cold, I reckon, by now. But there he is. This means that he doesn't care that he's a bit soggy and cold.
Yes, I don't think he minds at all, actually.
Not at all. 36 points, place 33. Alex Palou in third. 26 points. Lundie moved up to 4th.
That win, of course, 13 points for the win.
Yeah.
So he jumped up from
the pink cards are now being frantically shuffled.
12th in the standings to 4th with that win.
Well, Nick Cassidy, this really means a lot to him. And big handshake from Kurashita-san, who's saying he's getting instructions on how to use the trophy. Look at the size. It's bigger than Cassidy. It's huge.
Look at a base. He could actually wear that.
He's going to have to. He's going to have to buy his own green car seat on the Shinkansen back to Shinagawa. And he's got to lug it from the station to his flat. It's really heavy. That is genuinely bigger than he is.
That would be...
You can't. That's going to be difficult to get back to New Zealand, isn't it?
Well, he lives in Tokyo now, so...
Yeah, but I reckon his dad will want to sort of show it off around whichever town in New Zealand it is they're from.
Another one.
Oh, what's that for? That's another very large trophy. It's quite a cool trophy as well. Bit sort of 70s retro. Oh, shouty girls are there. He's got his finger up. He's very happy. He can't carry both of those back to the hotel, can he? He's from Auckland. There you go far from the airport. And he's getting another trophy. Well, this is just going to get difficult. He's only got 2 hands. What's this one for, do you reckon? We're going to have to get... So if you follow Go Racing tweets on Twitter...
And you should.
We will be asking Nick Cassidy to explain what all of these different trophies are for. Well, we've just asked him because we know he listens to this. He's now going to have to work out what to do.
And also, if you're watching this and you haven't liked, subscribed, and joined, why not?
Yeah, do like and subscribe. Nick Cassidy is reading the trophy to try and work out what this one is for. And he doesn't look completely certain, I have to say. Is there another one? Here's Sonia with a microphone.
改めて皆さん、大きな拍手をいただきましょうか。2019シーズンシリーズチャンピオンを獲得しました。ニック・キャッシュリー。
ありがとうございます。Yeah, I don't know what to say. I normally can talk a lot, but not right now.
本当にね、なんて言えばいいかわかりません。本当にいつもはおしゃべりなんですが、今言葉が出ない。
Well, there you go, Nick. That's quite easy to translate.
なんかこんなニックを見るのは初めてですよ。
Come on, you're gonna have to say something.
Yeah, look, thank you to my team. My team is my family, and this one means a lot. So, Tom's, TRD, Twitter, thank you so much. ありがとうございます。
本当にね、チームに感謝したいと思います。
He's really so choked up. He's
僕のファミリー
struggling
で
to
す。
speak. It's wonderful
チー
to
ム
see.
トム
He has deserved
TRD
it.
そしてトヨタに大変感謝しています。ありがとうございます。
I'm looking forward to his tweets.
1年前を覚えてます
Has
か。
he been on? He did have a phone in his hand, didn't
き
he?
っとあなたはすごく
So I'll
悔し
just
く
do his
て、
vlog.
この場所が嫌いになったかもしれませんけれども、1年後こうやってファンの皆さんが
Yeah,
す
and
ご
the
い
man
応
is
援
saying,
して
"Come on
く
the
れて
cast."
取ることができました。
No, I don't think so true. Last year, I finished the race with a smile because I gave my everything. And Naoki last year did a great season. He's a really deserving champion. And it's a pleasure to be able to fight with him again this year. He's a really great rival. And so, yeah, just an honor. And obviously, I'm really happy with the result. But yeah, proud of last year too.
そんなことはなくてですね、
Actually,
昨
just a
年も
thought.
確かレース終わった時も笑顔で終わったと思います。なぜかというと、素晴らしい選手、山本直樹と戦うことができ
Cassidy
ま
with
した。
three trophies. Is that kind of like in Transformers, where you
自分
had
の
the
実力を
Transformers that all
素晴らしい
combined to
実
make one
力を
massive
ずっと示
transformer?
してくれて、
Like a mecha.
それと戦える
Mecha
僕が
trophy.
すごく光栄に思っておりましたので、そしてね、ですから、
I've got a lot of
今シーズンはね
spare time
このように獲得することができたんですけれども、嬉しいと思っております。
Speaking of
昨年も
mechas,
決して嫌な思いはしませんで
In
したよ。
Godzilla
さ
versus
あ
Mecha
本
Godzilla
当に今
2.
シーズンみんな毎戦毎戦ウィナーが違うタフなシーズンだったと思いますが、
And in
改
South
め
Park,
て
it was
最後
Mecha
に
Strikeman.
チャンピオンを決めた今の気持ちを聞かせてください。
I'm so proud, but this year has been very emotional, very up and down, but we managed to do a lot of podiums, which I think was the key to the championship. Today was the 4th podium, which in this championship is fantastic. So really proud of my team for that.
はい、本当にね、1年を振り返って誇りに思っております。僕とチームの力ですね、アップアンドダウン
says in
も
the
たくさんあっていい時も悪い時もあったんだけれども、やっぱり
the
重
three
要なのが
trophies,
ポディ
these
ウムをたく
trophies
さん
put
獲得す
even
ることだ
NASCAR
ったと思い
trophies
ま
to
す。
shame.
今シーズンはそれ
Even
が
the grandfather
重
clock
ね
you
て
get at
重なって
Martinsville.
このようにね、最終的
That's
には
got to
いい
be
レー
up
ス
there
を
for creating
獲得でき
trophies,
る
hasn't it? All the guns. Where'd you get the guns?
Texas.
Texas, you get the
嬉しく
guns.
思っております。
じゃあ
Not
最後
quite
に
sure about that
本
one.
当にたくさんのファンが応援してくれました。そしてサポートしてくれたチー
Guitars at
ムも
Nashville?
感謝してもしきれないと思いますけど
Yes, yes, yeah.
最後にそんな皆さんに一言
And golf
お願い
clubs
しま
in
す。
Super GT once.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming every race. You know, this finale is so special with so many people here, and it really means a lot to not only me, but all the drivers in the championship to have so much support in Japan. And of course, you see drivers, sometimes we are happy, sad, but you guys are always here, and that's important. So thank you very much.
They're doing their best to make Nick Cassidy cry, aren't they? He's desperately trying not to cry on television, but he's, I think he's losing that fight. And you can understand it. It's still sort of sinking in, isn't it, for him?
素晴らしい選手を応援してくれているということは本当に僕も喜んで嬉しく思っております。本当に感謝をしております。ありがとうございます。
The camera's just in his face. He's trying to keep it together.
New champion, Nick Cassidy!
He said thank you in Japanese. And the shouty girl shouted his name. And then he's asking, what do I do with these trophies? Can I take them?
To be fair,
he's taking the big one.
To be fair, you know, this is a driver who was leading the championship going after Motegi ahead of Yamamoto. He lost the championship in Okayama, so and was really quite concerned that would be it. You know, as we mentioned, Yamamoto is very much a Suzuka Meister. It hasn't come from this weekend, but Cassidy's pulled the championship back after that mistake last time out, and did so with a very, very, very good drive.
Yeah, very convincing drive, great time management.
After a poor start.
I think that might have been slightly provoked by Lucas Auer, but nonetheless, superb time management, and that is a key point because it shows this guy knows what to do on racing tyres and how to work with them.
He's been doing that all year, Sam.
Yeah, exactly, and that's the point I'm making. There's the bear.
Key thing about that is because Toms have actually struggled in qualifying quite a few times this year, it's almost forced Cassidy a lot of the time onto a bit of a difficult strategy or a tricky strategy.
He's had to put the trophy down. It's got a bit heavy. I mean, he has driven 250 kilometres of Suzuka.
Put this into context. Suzuka in the first race, he started 12th, won. In Altopoulos, he qualified 11th, came 8th. At Tsugo, he was 14th, finished 4th. Fuji, 5th to 3rd. Motegi, 12th to 3rd. Okayama's really the only blip.
Yeah.
Blip on him. Today, he started 6th, had a drop down to 7th, and has come home 2nd to win the title. So he's used strategy an awful lot and great tyre management and great speed while managing those tyres to actually win the championship. And that's what you got to do. That's what you have to do.
Oh, here you go. Here's the top 3 podium. He's had to put the trophy back now. The other 2 have been stolen, apparently. Naoki Yamamoto and Alex Palou. Yamamoto is cheered up a bit.
But as we mentioned, Palou he was a guy, he was showing good speed in the first 3 rounds. It took him a while to finally score. As you see the 2020 calendar on screen there again, round 1 in Suzuka at the beginning of April, then a couple of weeks later in Fuji, Altopoulos May the 16th to 17th, Tsugo June 20th, 21st. I can't remember if that's Le Mans weekend or not. Then there is a 2-month gap because the Olympics are on, then Motegi at the end of August, Okayama at the end of September again, and then over the Halloween weekend for the finale in Suzuka next year.
All of those races live and in full here on Let's Go Racing with Talk Esports. I hope to be there for those races, and I know you will be, Lee.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be a cracking season. Well, we're going to stay with this for a little while longer because there might be some more podiums. I mean, we're not quite sure. The drivers are still there chatting amongst themselves. So Alex Palou saying, well, he was swearing at Nick Cassidy with 2 fingers there, and Naoki thought that was a very bad idea. Nick's trying to say where they're going drinking tonight. He said, oh, I've been there too. It's quite good. They serve those beers in the giant ones, yeah. And so look, there are the cars of the 2019 JAF Grand Prix, won by Nojiri for Team Mugen, as the hero music plays again. We might get the highlights really in a minute, but Nick Cassidy, the Vantolin Team's Toms, is the 2019 Super Formula Championship. There is the C. There is the man signing autographs. The reigning champion. That's really not a very good autograph now, Nick. That's just sort of more of a squiggle, but the kid's happy with it. Oh, he's saying, look, Mum, that's what it looks like. Is that really it? That's not how you spell Cassidy. barely an NC, that. He's filling in the rest now, the kid. And there's your top cars in the little extra park for me. I like the way the Japanese racers always do this. Their cars are full on there. And,
but it's been a great season, Sam. Great race.
It's been fantastic. Yeah, it's been fantastic having you all at home here on Let's Go Racing. As I say, we're not done completely for the year. There's more to come. There is the World's Fastest Gamer finale and some announcements. There's a new series starting on Let's Go Racing soon. Podiums of the world, perhaps, because there's lots of bottles of sparkling sake. I'm not sure we're going to stay on for this podium because it's the longest podium in the world.
I think this is actually Nick Cassidy's drinking challenge.
Oh, is that how you do it? Oh, right, yeah, okay, because I can't quite work out. So is this going to be all the drivers? Or I don't know what's going on here. I think we're going to give up on this fairly soon. And, yeah, the drivers don't really know what's going on either. I was waiting for a highlights reel that normally sort of plays us out of this show, but I'm not quite sure. But are we going to wait for the highlights reel? Oh, yeah, okay. The producer doesn't know what's going on either.
Just to note, today with a very good race. It was Paley led from the start. It was a stall for Lucas Hour. We had a clash between Harry Nui and Nakajima. A couple of drivers ran out of fuel apparently just as the race finished. Nick Cassidy made strategy work, as we see Yuri Vips.
Why is he there? He's not won anything.
Well, this is all the other drivers, huh?
All the drivers who didn't win something now getting a bottle of champagne or sparkling sake. Well, okay. Yep, there is Yuri Vips who didn't win.
Confused.
So is this going to be a mega podium? I think I can see what they're doing. They're going to have a mega podium with all of the drivers.
Are they all going to have a spray off?
I think it. Well, they've opened the bottle, so I think it's going to be the world's biggest sparkling sake water fight. Look, they really look so enthusiastic about this, don't they?
Is that Kamui going as well?
Alex Palou is still down there. I can see him. Nick Cassidy is somewhere, I think, down in that scrum. Some of his team certainly are.
Cassidy there in front.
Yeah, there he is. He's signing autographs, and he's gone into the grandstand. Oh, there's another trophy? Oh, no, it's the other trophy.
He's going to watch the spray off.
Oh, the guys in the second row don't get bottles to play with. Okay. Our production team in Japan have just updated us and said, we're sticking with this. Okay.
There's Kaz Nakajima there as well. It's... As I said, we didn't really have any retirements today. Well, Harry Nui ran out of fuel on the final lap on the way to the flag.
Well, he didn't catch fire.
He did.
That's an improvement.
Lucas Hour there, and the other Red Bull drivers. Harry Nui there.
Yeah, Harry Nui is on there. These drivers look thrilled about this. Yuri Vips is beside himself with happiness.
Are they all going to collectively spray Cassidy?
I said earlier that Yuri Vips was finished. Of course he's famous.
Yeah, he's from Talent.
Yeah. Very good film, Darkness Over Dillane. That's a cigarette robbery, but gold robbery using cigarettes. Very black and white film, but really good.
Actually, very good orchestra.
And there is our champion again on the podium. He's beginning to wonder. He stopped crying now.
I think now he's pensive because he's seen everyone else with sake bottles. And,
oh yeah, this could end really badly, couldn't it? You could get the absolute soaking here by standing up there with the. That's the. I think they're all in championship. That's all the drivers in championship order, apart from Yuri Vips, who isn't. Or is it all the other drivers who haven't got? No, that's not right. And the guys who did win don't get any bottles. So, and then there's Satoru Nakajima. He gets to stand in front and say something to the crowd. He's saying thank you. That's about as far as you need. I'll give him a applause for that.
Nakajima racing is interesting with Alex Palou scoring majority of their points in the team championship as well.
And Alex Palou is a Nakajima racing driver, not a Honda racing driver. That's quite an interesting little distinction to make. Whereas Nick Cassidy is a Toyota driver and a Red Bull driver.
Congratulating Bahiri there for winning today's race.
Yeah. He's just doing the normal. They do this at Suzuka. The legend drivers of Nakajima's won. Do you know in Japan there's a legend driver championship? Yeah, so they have all the famous old Formula One drivers from Japan get together sort of every now and again at Fuji Speedway and have a one-make sort of sports car cup race.
Just as a little nugget as well, between Satora and Kazuki, they actually have 7 Super Formula / Formula Nippon / Japanese F1000 / Japanese F2 championships within them.
Well, that's quite impressive. Oh, look, there's a Renault F1 fan. He's probably still waiting for them to get their points from this Japanese Grand Prix.
Yeah, he's going to be waiting.
He's going to, yeah. Juan Luis Saldida said, is Patricio Award in this category? The answer is no, not anymore. He's gone back to IndyCar.
He's Pato split from Red Bull, and it looks like he's in line for a drive Arrowschmidt McLaren next year. So
Racing at Home, who's been actually on form on the chat all race, has just said Yuri Vitz is that confused new kid at school. He totally is, because this is the first time he's seen a Super Formula, Super GT or Japanese style podium. And now there's bottles being passed around, and this podium ceremony, as Adam Advocat has already said, the podium ceremony might become longer than the race itself at this point. And actually, I think it's not far wrong. This podium ceremony is incredibly long. And there's now seemed to be a very confused handing out of bottles of sparkling sake. Nick Cassidy's now got another one.
He's just dried himself off. Now he's going to get down.
He's doing it again.
I was right. He's
the biggest sparkling sake. He shouldn't have started that because he's outgunned now. Oh, that's going. He's like, no more. You see that being poured down the back of his race suit. Nick Cassidy is literally...
He actually did that to Nigeria.
Yeah, he's worried. Look at that.
He's like that guy in paintball. He's kind of like eyes out for everyone else.
Yeah. And look, he's looking around, and now everybody's going to go for it. He's off. No, they're not going to get him. This has turned into... he's going to get the grandstand. Well, Palou's
waiting.
Palou's still, he's going to look at Palou.
Makino's like, I'm not having any part in this.
Look, Palou has literally hit sneak mode. Look, you can see Palou just lurking in the background. He's going to come and get him just when he's dried up. Well, there you go. Cassidy's now looking extremely worried about the champagne now. Well, it's not champagne, it's sparkling sake, and the other drivers are being told to have at it. Oh no, they're being told to be polite now and not soak the kiwi. They're still going down the bottom. And Lucas Sauer
Cassidy having a chat there with Lucas Sauer, having a discussion about what happened to him during the race. Because Sauer did actually lead for a couple of laps, but it was mostly because he stayed out longest. And
Yuri Phipps, as very much looking like the new kid at school, going, "What is?" Right. We should get a highlights reel. As Sonia's talking to Kamui Kobayashi, Alex Palou's talking to his teammate, and well, that's a good way to end a championship.
Yeah,
a bit of fun and silliness.
It's been a fantastic season. And 7 great races in the Super Formula Championship this year. Looking forward to more in 2020, Sam.
Yeah, it's going to be fantastic. Thanks for joining us for the 2020 Super Formula Championship here on Let's Go Racing, where there was a man with sunglasses, a Spaniard who proved to be quite quick, and a Kiwi who proved to be quicker. Round the outside. Didn't work out, though. Moehle sponsored cars, Nakajima's, another one. A Cassidy, a Vantolin Team's Tom, and a new champion and a new winner of the JAF Grand Prix. People shook hands, a Kiwi got happy, he clapped his hands, nearly missed each other, he smiled, the flags flew, and Let's Go Racing will be back. Stay tuned. Like and subscribe, and thanks for joining us. I've been Sam Collins.
I've been Leo Gorman.
Thank you, and good night, good morning, goodbye.